we'll see if he's back in time.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Alpha Outdoors. I am Jeff Stanfield, Alpha Specialties Outdoors.
Alpha Outdoors. You can pull this up, you know. You don't have to
No,
be
I'm-
hunched over. Don't fuck it. Don't make a point now just to be an ass. I think that's what you were about to do. You're about to just pull that off the table,
Somebody's
weren't
just
you?
a pain in the ass.
Well-
Why can't we go with wireless mics? It's a whole thing where you just kind of put it in here like a headphone. That's what I want. I want to be old school or new school,
I don't care what
like the
you
guys on NBC do that call football games and got the little mic that comes across. Anyways, we're brought to you by Alpha Outdoor Specialties
And Bangtail Whiskey.
and Bangtail Whiskey
Got a new...
and Boss Shot Shells.
Yep.
And we're going to do a bourbon review, or they're going to do a bourbon review, and so
I've already-
by Looking
we've
Glass.
already done it.
And Logan, Y'all have already done one?
Well, I mean, I've already had this.
Okay.
It's cheating.
And
Introduce our guest. While we're
Mr. Mike Clements, the gypsy from Michigan.
Yes, sir.
You go everywhere.
Everywhere I can. Anywhere where there's a refinery, I'll be not too far off of it.
You got to keep them refineries going because gas is ridiculous.
I tell you what we need to do,
Just build new ones.
well, we got to run our current ones at capacity to start with. I mean, that'd be a good start. I mean, it's not really that bad in refining right now. At this price per barrel, it sucks at the pump, but they're actually running, doing projects, which if refineries are adding on, doing projects, that's people working, buying equipment. So it may not seem like it right now, but overall, it's not necessarily an evil thing.
Everybody I know that owns a business is busy as fuck right now.
Yes.
Everybody I know. But they can't get workers.
Yeah.
How are the workers feeding their families? Because they're not that big of checks. I don't understand. All I can figure out is this monthly stipend that people get. They're using that $500 or $600 if they got 12 kids or whatever it gives, and they're not working. But I don't understand.
Well, I thought they were going to get away from doing that. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't me, but getting hourly employees to go do anything seems like it's I know for my work that they went out, increased pay, increased benefits, sign-on benefits, and it's still a struggle just to get people to go up to work. Or they show up for 3 days,
Right.
get a temporary or half a check, and then peace out, they're gone.
We have 4 full-time people here that work every day. Well, Andy shows up 2 days a week or 3 days a week, but everybody else works all the time.
I do work that you don't see.
I know you do. I'm not complaining about it at all. But what I'm saying is that we've got 4
That
people
sounded-
here that work all
I do work that's not noticeable.
Well, so do I. But we got 4 people that work all the time, year round, 52 weeks a year, that are working all the time. And if we sold some more hunts, I could almost have we could almost have a social media secretary that working almost. We're almost that busy. And it just floors me. Every business I know is that way. Because everybody's like, man, y'all's business has got to be hurting right now. No, and the problem is people can't get people to work for them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now,
And I don't know, because I'm like you. I thought that the benefit, the $5,000 or whatever the hell it was a month, was going away. But like the unemployment is still, nobody's working.
Yeah.
Every business in town is looking for somebody to hire.
and then someone will tell me I can't find a job.
And
No, that wears me out.
this has been the weird, because Knox City is an oil field town. I mean, that's what drives the economy. This is, for gas being as high as it is and oil being as high as it is, we've not seen a bump at all as far as like new people coming out or anything.
The oil companies aren't spending a lot of money in new exploration right now.
No,
Unless they're
no.
doing it somewhere where they're going to hit a 1,500 barrel a day well, where they're going to make a buku of money. And it's not the oil companies' fault that gas prices are the way they are. They want to blame it on the oil companies.
No, yeah. I mean, it's based on your WTI and Brent, right? So what you're trading at, it goes directly to the pumps. They're just trying to make that margin in the middle. Yeah, and they have to recap or rebuild from the last 1 to 2 years. I mean, you think about when that gas was low, they didn't make shit, right? I mean, their margins were in the toilet. Upstream was completely out because there's upstream, midstream, downstream, all those three facets of it. And what we were talking about out here is all upstream, but the downstream was the one that was suffering. Upstream could get it out, but if you can't process it and put it into a final fuel, what good is it?
The biggest benefactor of fuel is the federal government. They invest absolutely $0 into it, but they make about 25 to 50 cents a gallon off of it. You think about that, 25 cents a gallon for every gallon of gas consumed in this country per day. That's how we can fucking give Zelensky more money over in fucking Ukraine all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a shitload of money that they get on fuel taxes every single day.
So what does it mean upstream, downstream, midstream? Is that just where you are in the country?
No, that's a part of the process. So like upstream, and I don't want to dive into it too far because I'll go in full nerd mode on you guys. But upstream is like we get it out of the ground or get it up from under the sea. Upstream, midstream's like processing natural gas. So think
upstream is out here, where they're
getting it out of the ground.
Getting it out of the ground.
So pump jacks, roustabouts, running around, servicing that stuff, all upstream. And then midstream's like Midland, Odessa, so natural gas, processing plants, condensate. And then downstream is refinery, right? We're taking crude oil, cracking it, turning it into jet, diesel, gasoline.
Now, diesel is a cheap byproduct.
No.
Gasoline's a cheap byproduct of diesel?
I would say none of them anymore. So that's the contemporary thought is that, oh, well, it used to be gasoline is what you make, and then your byproduct's just diesel. That's why it's so cheap, right?
Used to be.
Used to be. But now everything we have sulfur restrictions that are required for not only on-road fuel, but now off-road fuel, jet fuels. So when you want to take any of that sulfur out, it's called desulfurization, hydrotreating. That costs money. It's an extra process. So you're adding more equipment, people, into the process, which therefore makes it cost more. So it's not, and there's nothing that's a byproduct out of it anymore. I mean, it's a game of trying to recycle, like even steam condensate, because everything's expensive to get out of it now.
So a long time, like in the 70s or whatever, it was a byproduct of gasoline. But now with all the restrictions and everything else that's gone into it, not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the ppm levels at a gas pump on what diesel is, and then look at an old sticker to see what it was. Like something 5,000 ppm was what you needed to have, which you could get easily with sweet crude. Now it's like 50.
Really?
Yeah. And bunker, the big IMO 2020 regulations, so it used to be, it kind of rolled out. So you have on-road trucks that got affected, railroads that got affected. Jet kind of got unaffected for a short amount of time, but even that's coming around. And then bunker fuels. Because if you look at all the fuels that are made and where it's used at, a lot of it's transportation. Because what do we like to do? Buy shit on Amazon and have it come over from China. And that's bunker 6, right? That's all fuel price or fuel that's getting used on those ships.
Do you think that we'll ever get into a situation where we run out of oil beneath our feet?
That's a tough one because reserves are estimated by like a geological survey, but it's not really that. But it's an estimation, so there's not a exact number to it. And I think the U.S. does a really good job at determining what our reserves are, but like when I was over in Saudi, I did a bunch of work overseas in Middle East and China, and Saudis, they just guess. If you look at how their forecast is, they'll randomly go from one year to another, and there'll be a 10% increase. Well, they didn't walk around, stab a stick in the ground, and find, oh, here's another one. They're just changing it as they see fit. So I don't think so. We're also getting so much more efficient about our use of fuels compared to what it was 40 years ago.
Right. But how... I don't understand much about how all that works, but it seems to me like they're pulling oil out of the ground, which they are.
Yeah.
Well, eventually they're going to pull everything out of there, aren't they? I mean, yeah. So eventually we are going to. It's not rebuilding itself, is it?
No, it's not. Well, there could be some fossilization that's still coming about, but we're taking up a resource quicker than it can be replenished for sure. But you're talking about in how many years does that take place? It won't be in our lifetimes. Easily.
1,000 years, will there be petroleum down below?
I would sure think so. I don't remember what the forecasts are, but I believe it's tens of thousands of years.
So we don't need to worry about it then.
Yeah.
And we're not going to save the planet.
Kids don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But what you said the other day on the deal, we're past another volcano coming or earthquake or whatever it was. So we're in good shape then.
We were just talking about how like a volcano eruption, it would fuck everything up.
Change the whole deal. I did not realize that was an enlightening deal. The earthquake in Indonesia in 1815.
No, the volcano.
The volcano. I mean, God, I keep getting them backwards. Volcano in 1815 that basically caused a nuclear winter, and we didn't have crops and all kinds of stuff. Well, that would really fuck up the migration. I wish now when Mount St. Helens was in my lifetime, I remembered it was on the news, but I really, when you're 10 years old, it just really don't resonate on what's going on. I would have loved to think about how it changed everything, because it had to really change the crops in the upper Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was cold and there was dust everywhere. And I remember seeing pictures of the volcanic dust in Denver, and all kinds of places were just silted in with that stuff. I wish I would have paid more attention back then when I was littler and really.
If it was cold for that winter or whatever.
Yeah,
more
I like
cold.
What the springtime was like and everything. I'd just be really curious about all that.
I guess I could look and see how significant St. Helen was versus, I think it was Mount Tambora.
Well, it obviously was not. I would have remembered but you know what? In 1983, we had a cold ass winter.
Right.
But I don't know. That was 3 years after Mount St. Helens. I don't know. Anyways, back to the oil stuff. That fascinates me. So 10,000 years from now, we're probably going to be out. We've already reached, would you say we've reached peak population on the earth now?
Man, I'd really like to say we have, but I don't think so, because we love to reproduce.
Well,
the numbers are showing it's declining
Elon Musk
fast.
says, according to Elon's projections, we're below replacement, and most civilized countries are too far below replacement. He said, Elon Musk says by the end of the century, your biggest problem is going to be that you can't find people to work, which
I know in 2300 they say Japan will no longer be self-sustained. They will be on the way to collapse because they will run out of people. I guess some little Japanese people don't like to fuck. That's all I can figure out.
Well, I mean, China, they have that regulation. I didn't think about Japan.
I don't understand what's with young people not wanting to have sex anymore.
I don't think it's that. You can't. They had a daughter restriction. You could only keep a son in China, wasn't it?
That was in China, but they say Japan, the young people there, they're on their phones. I've never had that much enjoyment out of an Apple phone.
No, or Call of Duty or
anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was my number. I wanted to get my license and then go find chicks, right? I mean,
that's the way I grew up. I'd never had an orgasm playing a game.
Yeah.
You're not playing the right game.
No, obviously must not be with the right toy. But but something's happened. So there's a good chance that you're the smartest guy in this room today. Usually that's on me, but this might be you today. So
you got accepted into MIT?
Is that right?
Yeah. So that's a good story. We got getting out of high school. I got into a whole bunch of trouble. I grew up just poor on a farm, worked my ass off, did everything I could, and then you kind of get to the stage, or at least I got to the stage where I'm like, you know what? I'll just go out and have fun, get a license, going out and doing fun stuff. And I kind of got into a little bit of trouble with drinking too much and partying too much, and I had to go get SATs or ACTs, one or the other. Went out, partied, got shit-faced drunk. Me and my brother drove out to Lakeshore to get this testing done. I scored a 32, which I forget what this limit is, but
that's very high.
It's very high for being extremely hungover. So I sent out all my applications.
That's a really high score.
Yeah, I think it's 36 or something.
I don't know.
But it was a good score for what it was, and I sent out the applications to everybody because I'm like, if I get in somewhere, cool, and if not, my plan was just either A, stay on a farm, or B, try to go into the military.
36 is as high as you can get on the ACT.
Yeah, 32 is really high.
Yeah.
It's a lot higher than I made.
21 is average.
I'm way above average, but I'm way below you.
Yeah, so that was a good indication. So you send out all that stuff, and I think when you start applying to schools, they look at holistically, and everybody's worried about, well, you got to be part of all these sports teams and doing all this other stuff. I think, honestly, when you're going through exceptions, that they're looking at what's your natural ability and where are you coming from, and then some of these standardized scores like MEP scores, ACTs, SATs. And if you're just a smart person, they're willing to look at you. Now, did I apply and get into it? Sure. Could I afford $35,000 a semester or whatever it was? Not this guy. I mean, I'm still paying my college, and I went to a technical university in Michigan.
Have you been to MIT?
No.
It's a pretty cool looking, modern looking kind of campus deal, but man, you're talking about right in the middle of that shit. And I like Boston. I would have loved to have gone to Harvard for one semester just to say I really went there. I always claim I went there. I've been there a couple times. But when you walk around the campus and you see all them fucking geeks and shit, it would not fit in right here at all. Way too fucking liberal for me. Now, wasn't near as liberal in the 80s as it is now. For me, it wouldn't have been. But MIT, that's a great school. What would you be doing different, though? Because you seem like you enjoy what you do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd change anything. I mean, it all kind of worked out. So I went to a technological university in the northern tip of the Upper Peninsula where you only did 3 things, really. You went to school, You drank and you hunted.
We're at the Upper Peninsula.
Perfect.
In the Keweenaw Peninsula. So if you go to the most northern part, kind of looks like that, and that tip comes up to the top.
Where's
right
Marquette at?
It's about an hour and a half southeast. So that's at the base of
Right.
Keweenaw Peninsula. So you keep going further north.
So you're way the hell up there.
Way up there. I mean, think like northern Minnesota or northern North Dakota, right on the Canada border. That's about what it is for Michigan, except you're surrounded by Lake Superior.
So Sault Ste. Marie, you're a couple hours away from it.
No way, like 4.5 hours.
No shit.
West and then north.
West North. I've always wanted to do the drive from Sault Ste. Marie to Green Bay.
Oh yeah.
I would think it'd be
Across
a cool
two.
drive. I would
Yeah.
love.
We almost did it last year.
Yeah, we almost did it, but
and it
we
was
had
like 6 hours.
But we had too
Yeah.
many grandkids, and I was like, it'd be a long trip for them. But
because we were
I would
gonna
like to
come
do it.
back.
It's beautiful.
Now this is my dumb question for the first half of this podcast. The college that you went to, and MIT. Do you think that you would have studied something different at MIT, or would it just be that you would have gotten the MIT stamp on your education? Like, what would there have been any difference in what you went and studied for?
I don't know, because when I went into college and applying, I was going into engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I don't think that would have changed at all. It just would you would have had a higher endorsement coming out of MIT as opposed to Michigan Tech. But I mean, the way I ended up doing my role in refineries right now was complete dumb luck, because I went into doing hydraulics. I did organic chemistry. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I took all this other stuff trying to figure it out. And by the time I graduated, I moved to Chicago, went to the city because I thought that's what it was. So I had this really long road and then stumbled into refining, because there's actual courses for refining engineering, right? Petroleum.
Right.
And I didn't take any of that stuff. I just stepped into it and then started doing field service, and they put me on a plane flying around the world and just learned it the hard way.
Now, when you were like, you think back to your high school days, did it just come easy to you and you were like, fuck this?
Yeah, I mean, math and science made sense. I mean, you're in I lived through from the no cell phone to cell phone days.
Weird time.
Yeah, like the Nextel, the yellow brick was
Yep.
the very first phone I had, and that was my senior year. So before that, you would just get on a tractor. You told Dad, you're going to go to this field, we're going to cut hay, or we're going to go, spray, and then you came back at dark. And if you didn't come back at dark, somebody was going to go get you.
Right.
And if you broke down, you just found a way to fix it, or you started walking. So you kind of went through that, but you become very hands-on, knowledgeable, experienced. So you learn how electricity works, how fluid flows, and all that stuff. So once you started to add in the math to it, and I enjoyed it, it came really naturally easy to me, and I enjoyed doing it. So it made sense. And it got me out of the hot sun, because I tell you what, one thing, by the time I got done with my senior year, I'm like, well, like that whole military was going to be number one, because I'm like, I'm not doing this shit the rest of my life. This is not that much fun.
So y'all were just farmers. Y'all didn't have like a dairy farm or anything like that, because that's another level of suck that I've come to realize.
Yeah, no, we had horses. We had some cattle, but we mainly sharecropped on a local farm. Yeah.
Do you get pissed at people that don't pick things up quickly? Because Jeff is that way. Like with math, if he's explaining something and it not just appearing in somebody else's head, he's just like, "What the fuck?" He kind of short circuits a little bit.
Dumb people bother me.
Yeah, well, so here's the weird thing. My kids, I am so short with for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah, me
But if
too.
you give me somebody else, I could sit down with them, go through it nice and slow, and I don't have any problem teaching them. But my kids, it's like, I don't understand how you don't know this or pick it up. And then if you sit back and think about it, I'm like, well, of course.
Why would they?
Yeah,
know
why
it?
would you know that?
I got frustrated with Michelle this morning, talking to me about this stuff going on with the WHO taking over our country and all this stuff. And I'm like, Michelle, we're not letting the WHO come in here and run our country. They're taking a vote. It's not going to happen, I'm telling you. And it just kept going on. I'm like, God, it's not going to happen. And things like that with common sense wear me out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to have something to do with some of our medicines. I don't know. But the WHO and the United Nations is not coming over. This is the wrong fucking country to try to pull that shit in. It ain't going to work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's some places you might get by with that shit, but when the UN starts driving down the road with guys with guns, and people down here got more guns, that shit is not going to last very long. And shit like that wears me out. Just a conversation, I'm like, God almighty, I just don't.
Well, in numbers, like if you're trying to explain math to somebody.
That really wears me out, because it's real simple.
Well,
math is very
especially
simple.
They have Common Core math now. I don't know if you guys have that.
Oh,
don't have it
Jesus.
yet.
I don't even know how the fuck they explain that to people.
Oh, I don't know. Well, luckily I live in a tiny little farming community, so like there's that system, and then the teacher's like, well, if you want to teach your kids whatever way, as long as it's the right answer, I'm like, well, that's perfect, because we are fuck that, get that out of here. We're just going to teach you how to do math.
39 and 26 is 65. Any way you want to do it. I don't give a shit if you put.
But
Well,
I
it's just like
37
college, right?
Yes.
College, you had an answer or a question, and you got an answer. You showed your work, and as long as you didn't like basically guess, that's a right answer.
yeah.
So just figure it out.
I don't even know how they came up with Common Core to begin with and thought that, oh, this is going to be way easier than the way we were doing it. Let's add and multiply to subtract. That's the way to do it.
Oh yeah, well, and especially you're going backwards from what everybody already knows. So you had to teach the teachers. The
Right.
parents don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, who came up with this? And then they blindly roll it out. This is what we have to do.
And it's racist to do math the regular way.
Oh,
Yes.
I have never seen
Math
a color
is
on
racist
math ever. It's basic for everybody.
Yep.
But someone that understands grammar like my wife, she has a hard time
With you?
it drives her crazy all the time. She corrects me on my writing. If I write an article or a column in a magazine or something, she's constantly, Jeff, how do you not know this? I don't get it. I don't get where, were, and where, there, and there, and there, and two. I just in the last couple of years absolutely finally understood what where and were meant. I mean, I would all the time get them backwards. And I didn't give a shit, and that's what really drove her nuts. I'm like, they're smart enough, they can figure it out.
Yeah.
No, you need to. You're writing the thing. And do you not know what a comma is? Well, I know what it is. I just don't know where to put it at. Because when I was in high school, I had a black lady for a teacher for 4 years. And she was funny as shit. Her name was Miss Wilson. And she made me laugh all the time. She would hit people all the time. She called them ugh, mug, and slug, and she made fun of people. Well, fuck, I took her for 4 years because I liked her. I got an A in citizenship. The only time in school I ever got an A in conduct or citizenship because I was an American, she used to say. So you get an A, Jeff.
There you go.
But I got that because I liked her and she was funny. Problem was I didn't learn a fucking thing in that class.
Yeah.
But I got a B in class and an A in citizenship. And that's all I cared about. And I've paid for it ever since. And I wish now I'd went back and taken Miss Merrill, who was a really good English teacher, and learned.
So you got to pick your teacher? Mm-hmm. I'm going with the black lady.
She was funny as shit. She did.
Gonna make me
I got her
giggle.
the first year by accident, and I walked in there, and she goes, in freshman, she goes, okay, ugh, mug, and slug. That's the way she would talk to you. And she made fun of people. Had a black kid in classes. No, I felt sorry for the black kids in her class because she was really hard on them.
Hard on them.
This kid named Melvin Latchett. I'll never forget Melvin. Melvin was late for class, and she went to church with Melvin's grandma and mom. I don't know Melvin ever went to college or to church. Anyways, Melvin come in late, and he was kind of looking for her, and she hid behind the door, and he turned around, and she hit his ass in the fucking gut like Mike Tyson. She lit his ass. Oh, yeah. And she had these big old fucking rings, and she used to slap you on the back of the head with them if you were talking, and she wasn't paying. She'd knock shit out of you. But she did. She knocked him right in his gut.
It's hard to
Boy.
learn commas and apostrophes when you're fucking afraid for your life.
You're ducking and dodging every day. And she didn't care if you fought in class. She don't get blood on the linoleum. She used to say that all the time. But that was the kind of, but everybody, she was funny. But I made a big mistake by taking her. But, and that's why, but Michelle gets as frustrated with me over grammar as I do with her over a lot of things. Common sense shit.
So what were you doing with Honda? Sareki told me you were like souping up, you were turbocharging these snowmobiles.
Yeah, so when I got into college, and you could sign up for these different extracurricular activities, and one of them, they call it Clean Snowmobile. So at the time, this would have been early 2000, like 01, 02. Everything was two strokes, right? Two strokes are evil for the environment. They're ruining the world. We're all going to die in 5 years.
Right.
And we see how that worked out. So they said, okay, the program was to build a sled. You had a budget, and then you had to go race it to prove out fuel economy, emissions, and then performance, because you can't give up performance. And we ended up gutting, I think it was a Polaris Indy 500. Anyway, we put a Honda 400 EX motor in it and then turbocharged it and got to work with Honda engineers on fuel mapping. And yeah.
How do you turbocharge something? I'm not mechanically inclined. So what does this entail?
Yeah, so it's just it's kind of like a pump. So you're going to take your exhaust that's coming out, just like it comes out of your truck. It comes in, spins a turbine, and that turbine's hooked up to your intake, and your intake fan is blowing faster or creating more pressure than what your exhaust is. So as you add more air to your fuel or to the intake, you can add more fuel, and if you get more air and fuel, you get more horsepower.
Did you know this before this, or is it like, did you tinker on cars in high school and like you had the fucking loudest, baddest?
No, because I was poor, so I just
Oh, yeah.
I worked on it to keep it running. But I mean, I had a general understanding. That's the thing, going from just a farm to engineering school was like I had an idea of like, well, if I do this, then this happens. And then in school, you learn, well, there's an actual calculation. So you can determine exactly what this needs to be.
Right.
And we would learn that. And that's the thing for the clean snowmobile. It was freshman through senior, so I didn't have the course. I had no fucking idea. But the seniors knew, and they knew how to get it figured out. So we could all collectively work together. Like you start out as slave labor, and then you work your way up.
And then did Honda take any of y'all's ideas that y'all worked on then and apply it to what they have on the line now?
I don't know that they did. I mean, there are certain programs that we worked on that are, I mean, out there now. Like there's electric vehicles. So that's the gas motor that runs a generator and charges batteries and runs. We had one of those way back then, and that's in full production now. But I don't think Honda took anything out of that. Maybe the turbocharged 400. I've not followed their off-road motorsports stuff.
Why did they say the two-stroke was bad for the environment?
It's because you have to add oil into it. That's what lubricates the engine, so it doesn't overheat. It doesn't have crankcase motor oil.
Right.
And you combust that in the combustion process, so that goes straight into the environment.
But the four-stroke's better?
Yeah, because you're just burning gas, and it's got oil in the crankcase.
So like when you use your car, you're not burning oil into the atmosphere,
Correct.
just gas fumes.
Yeah, I don't know. You go far enough West Texas, you'll find that.
Yeah, no shit.
You just find
What-
some heel jack shit.
When I was a kid growing up, you could buy regular gas was what everybody bought. Nobody ran unleaded. Now everybody unleaded's the bottom, the cheap one. You know, that's me. I always push the button on the cheap one. But there was ethyl also. Do you even remember that?
No, well, I'm trying to think because we went from leaded to unleaded, and there was, I'm trying to remember what the chemical name is for, because that was for lubricity in it. But when we had carb stepping in 1977, that's when Catalytic converters came out, and then leaded gasoline plugged Catalytic converters. So then they had to go to this unleaded mix. So really all you have now is either ethanol-based fuel, so something that comes out of corn, or just traditional hydrocarbon.
They sold ethyl, they sold regular, and they sold unleaded. Nobody bought unleaded. You know, everybody bought regular. It was 39 cents a gallon growing up. Unleaded was 49 cents a gallon or something.
I saw Wyman got
I was fixing to talk about that.
converter stolen.
Yeah, Wyman was in Denton.
One of our guests, he was spending the night in Denton and woke up to them stealing it, didn't he?
No. He got up at 5 and went to start his truck. Went inside and finally talked him into showing him the film, and someone had been there between 3 and 4 o'clock, right before he woke up. You know, Terry Utley, the same thing happened to him.
Really?
He was at Houston in a stock show, went and started his truck up. He's like, had the damnedest noise, couldn't figure out what it was. And you know what's bad? Wyman said it took 10 minutes for him to do it.
To take it off?
To take his, I don't even know where I am not mechanical at all. I know about as much about fucking women's hockey as I do catalytic converters, zero. But he said it took 10 minutes to take it off, or maybe 3 minutes. It wasn't very long. You know, you're mechanical. How long would it take for you to take a catalytic converter off?
Just a couple of minutes, because I just take a battery-powered Sawzall and you just cut it off. If you come down the downpipe of your exhaust, and between there and the tailpipe, it's in there somewhere. But you just cut that 3-inch pipe off. It's a really thin wall. I mean, it doesn't take long at all.
I thought about that. I bought Michelle a news.
I don't even know where it is. I thought it was in the motor.
No, it's
like
on
a tailpipe.
It's on the bottom. It's the exhaust part of the exhaust.
It should be about under your driver's seat somewhere, or passenger seat somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
I bought Michelle a new Z71 Tahoe, and we went to South Padre, which is right by Mexico. And one of the nights we were staying there, stayed at the Hilton. We parked way at the end of the parking lot. It was the only place open. I parked in the lot. I said, I'm going to be a mad son of a bitch if I come out here and this fucker's in Mexico tomorrow, or someone stole the catalytic converter. Because you think about that shit now. Before, I would have never thought. I thought about somebody stealing a vehicle, but I think I'd be almost as mad stealing the catalytic converter. At least you get another when you go buy your new vehicle. But how long does it take to get I'm sure it's a pain in the ass to put a new one on.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to have to re-weld flanges on, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. And if you take it into a dealership, I guarantee they're going to say, well, we can't sell you this part. We're going to have to sell you the whole exhaust system. So you're going to be in at $1,200.
Yeah, and in Knox City, you ain't getting shit done fast.
It just makes it loud as shit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Brand new vehicle pull up. Oh, he got his Cadillac converter stolen. Yeah. And that's like a big deal, but
what's the appeal? What are they're scrapping
there's some kind of metal inside. Is that platinum that's in it?
I don't know what the blend is anymore, but it used to be platinum, so it's a highly desirable metal. So you can take that in, and that's the thing. Junkyards are supposed to check.
Oh, they're
but
not.
you can find a junkyard.
Cletus is selling you some. He's buying that for $200 and he's selling that platinum for $1,000 an ounce or whatever.
He's not asking too many fucking questions.
Yeah, well, I think
guarantee you.
they're buying them in Michigan for like $600.
But there's $1,000 worth of platinum in them. I think.
Yeah.
So my deal is we need to get in the fucking Cadillac converter, just buy them fucking new and just take platinum out everywhere.
Yeah.
But like, can you imagine that conversation? Like, oh, you found another one on the side of the road, huh? Wow.
Got 12 of them.
12 this week. You're just on a roll.
Yeah.
They need to weld those flanges a
The
little bit
sad
better.
thing is how many smart fuckers are on meth. They have to be. Because them fuckers can figure a way to survive, to rot their teeth out.
Pay for their habit.
And never go to jail hardly. And ride a bike everywhere. Because down here, if you see a grown man riding a fucking bike, he ain't working out for the damn Tour de France. He's a fucking meth head. And I think it's that way everywhere. Yeah. But I'm watching that show, The Wire, and they're stealing plumbing copper from these plumbers. Oh. They steal, and this is in the movie. It's just a fucking show. They steal them, and then they go sell them to another construction site. You know that shit happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, Bill's billing the company for full price deal, and he's buying it off them fucking meth heads. Because this one meth head said, "Yeah, and what happens is after they get the drywall up and they leave, we'll go in and take the drywall down, and we'll steal all that pipe and go sell it to somebody else again." And I thought, and that shit happens in the big cities all the time.
Yeah.
That would fucking piss me off.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? You got all the fucking drywall up, and they take the drywall down, steal your shit.
Well, and you know what your
The
insurance...
drywall would piss me off more than my copper missing.
Yeah, exactly.
And what happens is we had a... what happened out here? Oh, we had the bad freeze a couple of years ago.
Right.
So we called our insurance company because we had to replace a ton of water lines we had to replace here. We'll replace the PVC pipe, but we're not going to replace you to take down the stuff and then fix it and do all that. They're just going to replace the pipe. That's how it worked.
Oh.
Well, we did it all ourselves anyways. We ended up not even doing a claim because it's going to make our damn rates go up. But it wasn't worth, you know.
Oh, they would only replace the they wouldn't replace the drywall and all the other stuff?
No, they wouldn't do that shit. You know, now someone that works for an insurance company can say you got fucked. Yes, we probably did. You're right. I agree with you. Anytime you deal with the insurance company, you're going to get fucked.
No, you guarantee.
But there was, and Tony can tell you exactly what it was. Right. But because when we first got done, I thought, fuck yeah, boy, goddamn good job for Andy, and you stay all busy all summer. You know, we replace all the walls, and Tony goes, it ain't gonna work that way. They're only gonna pay to replace the plumbing work, but they're not gonna to do any of the cosmetic work to replace the pipes.
Do you think as Elon Musk becomes more brilliant, do you think that we'll ever move to solely electric vehicles? Or do you think there will always be a demand for the old gas and diesel?
I don't think you'll ever be able to get 100% away from it. I mean, if you think about
the efficiency,
well, you have to gather enough lithium to make all these batteries and then plan for scrapping batteries and recover it. And then we're talking just cars and trucks. Mm-hmm. Consumers, I mean, it's trucking industry, rail car. You can't get 100% away. That's impossible.
I ain't getting on an electric plane.
No, me neither. So, I mean, you're never going to get 100% away from it. But you could start moving that direction. I think, could you have electric cars? It makes sense. Like any big city, you should be able to have an electric car. You're not going to drive more than 200 miles, plug it in. Right. And then that's the funny part to me is I was doing a show up in North Dakota, and they had somebody that was anti-coal plants because all electricity is coal-fired. And the very next year, one of the power plants came in, and they bought a Prius, and they had the Prius plug going up, and it was a big-ass LED sign that said coal. Because, I mean, this electricity isn't clean, so that part of the process is, but you're completely ignoring everything of how you get your power.
Liberals are confusing as fuck.
Is there any, like, truly clean energy? Or is it always go back to like coal or taking fossils out of the? I mean, that's that's basically what oil is.
I've always point people back to basic physics, right? So you can't create nor destroy energy. I forget which law that is, but it's you just have what you have. That's it. It transition phases. So no, there's not going to be a permanent or an easy thing. It's just a blend of like hydroelectric power, sun farms, windmills are I think pretty stupid because the efficiency of them is fairly low, but it depends. We took a good idea for a household and then tried to make it big.
Mass produce it.
Yeah, because you could power your house with it, right? And that makes sense that you get
Solar,
off the grid.
You probably could.
I had a guy come out was going to give me a quote on solar. I thought, you know what? That's not Michelle's into all this prepping now. The world's going to end. So I told her, I said, she was like, can we please just do this? I've got the money put back myself. I'll just pay for it if we can just get, in case we go off the grid. So I said, fine. So I called the guy. He's going to come out. And I said, no, listen, before you come out and try to give me a big sales pitch, I'm not a sales pitch guy. If I want to buy something and it's what I want, you give me a price. If I like the price, I'm going to buy it.
Yep.
You selling it to me, you're going to talk me out of buying it more the chances are than you getting me to buy it. Once I make up my mind I'm going to buy something, I'm usually going to buy it. So the guy talked to my phone and I said, listen, before you come to the house, I got a couple questions I want to ask you. I want my house to be able to run off of power, off solar. I understand that the electric companies will buy my surplus power that I provide. Got no problem with that. My biggest issue is if we go off the grid, we have an atomic bomb, which is not going to happen, but whatever happens, they cut off, they Chinese hack into our systems and we cut down all electricity. I want to be able to have my air conditioner and my TV and stuff. Will that still work? Yeah. Well, no, not unless you buy a battery that costs $25,000. Thank you very much.
To store the electricity.
I said, don't waste your time. Thank you very much, sir. Because I don't care about, I don't want, my electric bill's $300 to $500 a month anyways. I damn sure don't want to have to pay $200 a month still and then pay $300 a month for these solar panels. It's the same damn thing. It just ain't worth it.
So what about like a generator? Could you get a propane generator? Because the house that I worked on, that's what they have. They got a generator. It's hooked up to a propane can like we got out here.
Yeah, you could do that, but I don't think you're going to save much money on what your electric bill is.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying their generator only kicks on if the power goes off.
Well, that would work, but it's a good chance if someone hacks into our system and we don't have, that's good for 2 or 3 days. I was thinking 6 months down the road, whenever other motherfuckers dying in the heat, and I've got my fucking air conditioner on because I've got solar panel and I could keep my battery. I thought the solar would work enough that I could run my house all day long.
But it's got to have a battery.
It's got to have a battery to store it all.
Yeah.
And it just...
So there wouldn't be enough sunlight to even run your house?
You can't generate enough current off of that. So what you need to do is build up this bank, it's like an accumulator, the storage of energy to be able to power those appliances. You'd have to have so many solar panels to get the right current to go through to power all that. And like AC units are super high on amperage. Microwaves are, fridges are. Freezers.
Anything that we like to have
Yeah.
that's common is, and so it just didn't work out for. I was like, there ain't no sense doing it then. But that's what I was thinking. You know, if we got enough, we got a pretty big house. We could put solar around the whole thing on top. And we can run everything like we have now. And I pay them $500 a month instead of paying $500 a month to the electric company. Eventually, I'm going to own it all. Then here's the kicker. After you finally pay the motherfucker off, then you got to buy another $25,000 battery because it's no good. Yep. So you're at the same point over and over and over again. And even if I could have had it where it'd work out the same money, I would have, but it was not. It was going to be more expensive. Because he told me, he said, yeah, I got a lady that's really pissed off that she's got her whole house is run off the grid. She's got 3 batteries. And, money's not an object to somebody that's got a whole lot of it. And if I got millions of dollars in the bank, I got to write you a check for $60,000. I don't have to rely on Uncle Sam or anybody else. Hell yeah. But that's not how it worked. But it's like the wind energy. These windmills all over out here. If you go to the field west of Seymour, like around Vera and Red Springs, them some bitches look like someone took a bucket of oil and poured out of them where they've leaked and stuff. And the dumbasses on the left, they can't drive down the road and see stuff like that. They don't get that even though it's wind energy, we have produced something we can never, ever get rid of. Them things aren't going to deteriorate. You can't cut them up. They're not recyclable at all, are they?
I believe that Alcoa used to make those. They're 100% aluminum. They were. I don't know if they are anymore. So you could recycle those. But last I saw, they were still burying everything that they had. But it's not that clean of it. It's a hydraulic pump, basically, that creates energy. And I forget what the energy loss is, but there's like a 20% energy loss. So if you're going to have that, why
It's
why
not
even
self-sustaining
do it?
at all.
Yeah, and then you got maintenance, which listen, I love that there's jobs that are created by it. That's cool. And you got to make them, you got to service them. That's great. But at some point, you just have to use common sense and say, listen,
It's not working.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a holistic solution either. Now, the only windmills I do like are like the little ones that you see that people put up on their house, and it trickles, right? So it keeps your lights on and does this other stuff. It mitigates it a little bit.
I saw some sailboats when we were in Cancun, I believe. Every at the marina, every sailboat had one on it.
Yeah.
So, well, fuck yeah, if you need some electricity, that's free energy, basically. There's nothing wrong with that for a little bit. But you ain't going to survive the rest of your life outside of that boat.
No, and people use them like on dog trailers at hunt tests and whatnot. So I've seen solar panels for charging, for your fans and lights and whatnot. And the little wind, those little tiny cup ones, they'll put those on top of the trailer because you're banging down the highway doing 80 miles an hour. You might as well charge that battery a little bit.
Yeah.
I watched a show in Alaska the other day, and they were in the middle of nowhere, off the grid and stuff, and they were using DeWalt tools. Well, they had a solar bank somewhere, and they could recharge their batteries every night. They'd recharge all their batteries. There's a lot of good for it. Solar panels, I had I had a guy running for office out here the other day was telling me he would like to see us get these big solar farms out here. And I said, well, if I was a landowner, I wouldn't want to do that. He goes, why? I said, because once you turn that over to that, it's not good for anything. Those windmills, you can still farm around them.
Right.
You put solar panels on 100 acres of your land, there's nothing ever going to be there forever again.
Yeah. Well, and there's more efficient ways to do it. So if you're talking about thermal capture, there's a place in Arizona, New Mexico. It was called the Molten Salt Project. And what they would do is as the sun heated up this molten salt, it pushed it through piping and basically turned a turbine and created energy. And then when it cooled down at night, I think you needed a 30-degree temperature swing, it would move back. So it's no moving parts other than the turbine to create energy, and it just pushes back and forth.
That's some Elon Musk shit there.
It is. And I know that the Department of Energy supported it. We did some lab trials in Colorado and then rolled it out. But, like, you're putting all this time and effort into stupid solar panels, but you can't look at that one thing that works really good.
Yeah.
That's because it's like Solyndra. Our government, when our politicians get involved, it's all a fucking. I saw today, Nancy Pelosi makes $220,000 a year. She's worth $105 million.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, no shit. You know, but people, I did see Elon Musk come out today and say he's voting Republican from now on.
Nice.
So if the smartest, wealthiest man in the world, you wait for all the tax coming from the left on him now.
Oh, yeah.
We're really going to be all over it. But like that deal that you were talking about, we had a guy here that was a con artist that was trying to buy some land up here, and that's one of the things he was wanting to do.
I thought he was going to do desalinate, or not desalinate. He was going to put a vineyard or some bullshit.
And he was going to do all kinds of stuff. He was going to put in wild free-range chickens and pigs and goats, but he was wanting to buy a lake up here, and he was wanting to take it, and he had some way of doing what you kind of said, where they got these salt water, and they put all this salt water on there, and it creates energy, and it would spin the turbines when it would heat up, and it was going to provide all this electricity, and the electricity was going to be used for, I mean, the guy was spent some time in the prison, and so he had a lot of ideas. And the sad thing is, a lot of people bought into all this shit.
That's sad.
I mean, he almost got a $15 million ranch out of the deal. I mean, it was, and there was a lot.
Well, maybe he wasn't wrong. Almost.
But it was that kind of stuff though. Yeah. But the guy was. Excuse me. He was smart, but didn't use it in the right way, probably.
Yeah.
But he had a really interesting. I listened to one of his deals, and it's pretty interesting. It was really interesting.
And that's the thing, like with the left. It's like there's no. If you looked at the poor little African kid mining lithium, it's no better than the fucking little eagle that's caked in oil. Like it's all an atrocity.
Oh yeah.
But they're just like we're going electric. I got my Tesla. I'm saving the world.
Yeah, well, they ignore all that other stuff, and everybody's perception is from their home in L.A. or Washington State. If you go around the world and see how these other people live, like go inside an iPhone factory, or go into India or Malaysia, I mean it's not a pretty thing. But we just kind of people tend to block that off, pretend like it doesn't exist.
When did the war on oil begin? Like, when did the onslaught of, like, those fucking oil companies, we got to get rid of every one of them, and if you're driving a souped-up car, then fuck you, and I'm way better.
It's kind of cyclical. I think the original start would have been when Rockefeller, back in, early 1900s, had when they broke up all that stuff. And then it kind of goes on from there, like OPEC in the 80s, or there've been like a 70s gas crunch, 80s gas crunch. It seems about every 8 to 10 years we kind of hit this cycle of where we want to make these massive changes to it.
And I guess when BP happened, that was when did BP happen? Was that 2013?
Shit, no, it was earlier than that. I think.
Was it?
I think it was during Obama's administration, which is 8 fucked up years. So it may have been 2010, 20. It don't matter. I mean, it happened when it happened.
BP 2010. So. Now here we are, but it's just funny. Like those people never think about where the batteries come from.
Yeah.
No, and you want to know how many Teslas are on the road? You go to the fucking left coast.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you what. You get to Oregon, California, and Washington State. Them fuckers are in Washington State. I'm not lying to you. I bet you 20% of the vehicles I saw were Teslas.
Yeah.
I mean, I never have. I mean, it was so much it was Tesla after. First it's like, there's a Tesla because we don't see very many of them here. Now you're starting to see more and more of them. But, man, it was every freaking other car almost, it seemed like was. And I saw a guy the other day coming back from Padre that was self-driving.
Oh,
was
really?
next to me. I passed him. Of course, he was driving fucking 2 miles an hour over the speed limit or whatever it was. But he was just sitting there looking around, you know, dicking around. I'm like, there is no way in hell I trust.
You're
a
not going
car.
to do that?
No way.
Shit,
Oh,
no.
I'm
There's
doing
no. Are
First
you
chance
going to buy one?
First chance I get.
Are you going to buy one?
The problem out here is like the battery. I mean, we're 75 miles from Walmart.
You have to go for 500 miles of new ones.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm an Elon
what
Musk
if the
guy.
what if like
first.
because like even with your iPhones, the battery starts to decline over the course of its life. So what's going to happen when you're like on a road trip and you're like, ooh, fuck, I'm only getting 350 out of this bitch instead of 500.
You're going to try to go buy you another battery for $15,000 or whatever it is.
Right. Go find yourself a supercharger station and stop there.
We ain't got those out here. We're fucked.
You will see more and more of them. I saw somebody the other day I don't know if they had an e-car or not, but they were at like a Hilton, and some fucker had parked his cattle truck out on the end of the parking lot, and he parked in front of all the fucking the super truck, and they couldn't find the guy.
Oh.
He sat there for 8 years. He went off with somebody else and left his car parked there with that trailer right in front of where everybody could fucking, you know, so everybody went there to stay there. Like, well, we can't even park up. Do they make you pay a credit card there? Is that how, does it work like a gas pump, I wonder?
I would think so. I have a friend that has one in
By
California,
time.
but I didn't bug him about it. There's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I parked next to one in Bozeman, Montana, and I started to pull it out. Thought
Now-
that fucker wouldn't mix more. He'd be a mad son of a bitch.
I used one in New Jersey. I was out there. I had my I had an old 04 Power Stroke, and she does not like cold, and it was cold. So I went up to the electric vehicles and plugged my block heater in.
But he didn't charge you for it?
No.
So it's part of your room stay.
I would think so.
I wonder how much
Well,
it costs to charge one up, though. They're not filling my car up for me out there.
No.
I'd have bitch about that to Hilton next time. Listen,
A smart person that I listened to said that there should be a way for the tires to spin and charge the battery.
the guy that works here says that all the time.
Yeah,
Was it Tony?
It's Harry.
Oh.
He all the time talks about that. And he's been telling me that for years. He goes, I don't understand basic physics. I ought to tell you that they can take a generator like an alternator and put on all four tires that could keep that car charged at all time.
Yeah, that's not how it works. So
It's not?
Why?
No, because you're pushing out energy to drive down the road, right? So if you were putting an alternator, is going to have drag on it, which is what creates energy. So you're going to put, you'd have to have a 1-to-1 ratio of acceleration to drag. So
Smarter than
you
we
would
are.
not go anywhere. So could you recover some? Sure, but then you're taxing the motor.
So you're telling me it's not possible to do that?
Well, you're not going to charge, right? You're going to lose electricity
You'll lose
over time.
electricity
because
over
you're
time.
burning energy to accelerate, and then you add restriction to it. You're adding a drag onto it.
So, all right. I'm still confused by my uneducated
You're not
mind.
going to replace what you're
No,
losing.
I
It
understand
takes
that part.
energy to go
No,
forward.
I understand what he's telling me.
But
In
he's,
my mind, I'm just thinking, well, shit. It seems like you would create more energy, but I understand what you're saying. You're going to create less energy than you're going to lose. So over the long term, you're going to lose something.
Yeah, and they already have regenerative braking already built into it. So like when you let off the gas pedal, it's in energizing those alternators to kick on and charge your battery some. And even that, it does help some, sure, but it's
Right.
kind of
Couple
pissing in the
miles.
wind. Yeah.
Right.
I've always said if the left really cared about the economy and not the economy but the environment, like they say, you'd see wind farms up and down along the coast where all the wealthy people live, everywhere, off every coast would be, and you don't see them. My dad used to always he talked about this all the time. He said the greatest amount of energy in the world is an ocean, and that's free debatable, I think you'd say. And they got tide comes in, tide go out. He goes, there ought to be a way they can harness that to build energy.
Yeah, that's when tree huggers get involved, though, and they get all angry about it. Because I do think there's the liquid force that's in the ocean, especially with high tides, and they're just pure waves. But then people are like, well, you're gonna somehow impact this kelp, right, or something stupid like minnows. They're gonna get all butthurt about that. But that's the thing, is we're not trying to do it all with a broad stroke. I'm not saying every beach in the entire world needs to have this machine. It's like, well, put it over there where nobody goes.
Right.
What's the harm in that?
Where nobody can swim. Because I see plenty of pictures where the fucking waves are just bashing on the shores over in like Ireland or some shit. Nobody's swimming there.
Yeah, why not
Don't
capture
pick,
that?
don't pick on Ireland. We got Alaska,
There you go. Nobody's up in Alaska.
Kodiak Island.
There you
Yeah,
go.
nobody's swimming in that fucking ocean.
Right.
So, but how would you get the energy to here? That's the question, Jeff.
The whole country's in a grid right now,
Yeah.
from one end of it to another end of it.
Yeah,
Everything's
move it.
connected. If they want, I have had this argument a million times. I think what we need to do is find a way to get into the Missouri River and take some of that water out of the Missouri and the Yellowstone that go across the top of North Dakota and pipeline into the Texas Panhandle, eastern Colorado, New Mexico, and build canal system. We could produce so much groceries that way every year. And there's a ton of that water that's getting in the Mississippi River that goes right into the ocean.
Yeah.
My mic just went way up or something. Did you hit something?
Yeah, I was trying to kill that fly.
My mic went way up. But I really believe that there's a way that's something we could do. I don't understand desalination plants. Build them in San Diego and put that water into the Arizona desert.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason you can't do it. It's just time and money.
We just sent how much money we send to Ukraine.
Well,
we could have
that's
sure done a whole lot of
40
things to help
billion?
those people.
It's the American government way, right? We want to go help everybody else, but we can't help ourselves. And that's, I don't know why you can't take that money. For the amount of money that we've thrown at Ukraine, you can already have that done by now.
That's right. And create jobs.
Yep.
Well, we don't have jobs no more. Everybody depend on the people in America. I think this Ukraine deal is going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
The media keeps popping, oh, it's Ukraine. If you're against Ukraine, bullshit on that deal. I'll tell you, I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to talk politics for a minute because this is interesting. Today, Jim Jordan asked a Democratic congressman, do you think men can get pregnant? Guess what the Democrat said?
Yes.
Yes, he did. It's all over Twitter and stuff today. And a lady said the same thing today because they're talking about this. You know, there's a difference between a man and a woman. No. The dumb old fucker was 60-something years old. I guess he's never seen a pussy in his life.
Wow.
A man cannot have a fucking baby.
Nope.
You can cut, snip, do whatever you want to, but he cannot have a baby.
Can by their standards.
Which standard?
Jeff.
If she's born. Then I saw a picture today of two girls, hold on, that had their fucking breasts removed, lesbian girls. They want to be men, so they had their fucking tits lopped off. One of them might have some buyer's remorse later on down the world when she decides she likes dick.
Yeah.
The term man and woman, it's made up, dude.
Yeah.
It's made up, man.
By God, Adam and Eve was a man and a woman.
But if you look at it, the term man and woman, that's subject to debate. You could debate that.
How?
You cannot debate XX and XY. I'm telling you,
100%.
we're arguing them the wrong way. If we would just say an XY person cannot have babies, you can't debate that.
Oh, I'm sure they'd find a way to.
Did you see Big Mike come out yesterday and she
No.
made a tweet that said something about, she spelt woman, WOMXN. First of all, I don't even know why she's relevant. She was fucking the president's husband, wife, whatever she is. I don't know. But there's no sense in that stuff.
No.
But yeah, come out a Democrat said, yes, a man can have a baby.
We're fighting them the wrong way. Just go.
Well, yeah, we shouldn't fight him. We should slap the shit out of the guy and say, what the fuck are you thinking?
Go straight biology, XXXY.
Yeah.
Did you and your wife have children? You did. Does she have a vagina? Yes. Yeah, because she's a woman, you know?
This is like the basic math thing to me. Like,
Yes.
I can't even
Right.
comprehend like how you can have this
I'm the
conversation.
same way.
That's a man, and you
Yeah.
can call him whatever you want. You know, man, woman, XXXY, but it's straight up math in my mind. Like it's just how it is.
One's an
Simple
innie,
biology.
one's an outie.
Exactly.
They fit together.
Yep.
And
you put them together,
Yep.
generally make a baby.
If you're pole fighting, you're not going to have a baby.
Yep.
If you're two innies and you're rubbing on each other, you ain't going to get pregnant either. So don't worry
Scissoring
about
is
it.
what they call
And I
that.
don't even give two shits who
Scissoring,
you
yeah.
sleep with. I could care less.
yeah.
If you want to sleep with a man, if you're a man and you want another man, hey, if you like hairy asses, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a lesbian. I understand why a woman likes a woman, but I do not understand. Yes, a man can have a baby. No, that's not a man. You know,
Right.
Well, the Supreme Court justice that we got is, I can't define what a woman is at this particular
She
time.
could, if you got her off somewhere by yourself and she had a couple of glasses of vino in her, she'd say the same thing. She's like, I just wanted that job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it was. I'm telling them what they want to hear me. The
Which, do you blame her? Like, you lie at job interviews. Like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
I hadn't had a job interview in 30 years, but
No,
I'd
I
lie.
know,
But I'd lie.
You lie to get the job.
Yeah, hell yeah,
If it's
you
a
would
job
be.
you've worked your entire life for and you're at the fucking home stretch and you can see the finish line, you're like, I don't know what the fuck a woman is.
Yeah.
I got the job?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Have you ever
perfect.
been late to work, sir? No, sir. Will
Not
you always
ever.
be on time and have a good attitude? Yes, sir. You walk out there, fuck him.
Yep.
There was a job interview that was given to somebody that we know, and they gave them like the layup question, like, what don't you like, or what flaws do you see yourself having? That's a layup because you should be like, well, I care too much about work, and I take work home with me, and something like that.
Not that answer they gave.
Guy said, he sat there a minute. I don't think I have anything wrong with me.
Well, you're unemployed right now, so you must
Okay.
have some problems.
That's such an easy question.
I don't have any flaws.
I don't have any flaws, is what he tells the guy. Did not get the job.
Yeah, at least make one up.
You've had 4 jobs in the last 6 months. Why? You got to have some kind of flaw.
Yeah, at least I take my work home with me. I care too much about the people that I work with. Like something fucking.
I'm just too good at my job.
I'm too good at it. Yeah, but no, I'm too good of a human being. I do not have any flaws. But yeah, fuck yeah, you lie on that job interview. But
that's the world we live in today with these people. And it's just like if you went to Washington, D.C. and you had all them people in the room, senators and congressmen, and they were comfortable and knew you wasn't an agency and they talk amongst you, they all think the same fucking way. They're like, them fucking people are dumb fucks right there. We're fixing to fuck their gills out. We're going to let's give Ukraine another $1 billion, and they're going to kick back 100,000 of my contributions. And my brother-in-law, Ted, he got another DWI, that dumb bastard. I'm going to have to help my sister out because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But they just keep printing the money and shit, and fucking people dumb. We are fucking stupid.
So you recently went to North Dakota to look for the bird flu?
Well, I didn't go there to
you were there and...
Yeah, I was there for work, driving around. I spent a whole week out there going all over the state. And with the... I don't trust anything you see on social media or the news. It's all bullshit. But you kept on hearing the stuff about the bird flu. So I see all the ducks that are around my area. I'm like, well, I'm seeing shit around here. But it's Michigan, right? It's not the mecca for ducks.
Right.
I'm like, well, North Dakota, though, everything's moving back north. And
when did you go?
It would have been 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you find some?
First part of May?
No.
Now, I've got some friends that live there, and they said they did find a bunch.
I'm sure that there are some. I found 2 massive snow goose feeds.
Not a want nothing in it.
I spent 45 minutes with binoculars scanning them, just trying to find one that looks drunk and kind of bouncing around.
Right.
Nothing. And there was a shit pile of pintail and
did you see any hens?
Yeah.
You saw some pintail hens?
Yeah.
So they do exist.
They do.
Okay.
It's like a 10-to-1 ratio. It's like my college. But
that's what's wrong with the hens. They've been fucked to death.
Yeah.
There's none left.
Yeah.
So you think that do you think that it's largely made up, or do you think that maybe the snows are just too far into Canada that maybe you didn't catch it at the right time?
I think what happened is because it's a real thing. The bird flu is a real thing, but it comes out of poultry, right? And we're taking it to wild animals. Wild animals are finding ways to die. I mean, so I think if you had it, you probably saw it in Arkansas, Missouri, where you had the large concentrations of birds. Mm-hmm. But as you start to go further north and they string out, they're not that dense. I mean, a big feed, that was probably 10,000 birds on a single feed. I mean, it's just your likelihood comes down. Also, it works itself out, kind of like Darwinism. If it's sick, it dies, and then it doesn't reproduce. Other stuff eats it. So I don't think it's as bad. It seems like it all rolled out. It was going to have this big impact to duck hunting, right? We're going to see this big impact. It's not going to happen. There's so many other factors in play that are way more important.
Yeah.
I think it's a byproduct, the duck hunting side of it, because we look at things different. The average Joe don't give 2 shits if there's a pintail, a mallard, or what flying down the flyway. They don't.
Yeah.
That's duck hunters that do. That's why DU's so big.
Mm-hmm.
But the poultry farms and shit, that's what everybody's worried about.
Yeah.
And there's a big thing going on right now with all of our food that they say is getting sabotaged.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of things, like plane flying into a food processing plant. First of all, how much money are you going to pay some dumbass pilot to fly into fucking Hormel chili place? I mean, you got to really, really be in some big trouble, It's not like you owe $10,000 to the bank. They're like, listen, bud, I want you to kamikaze into that fucking Hormel place, and I want you to knock out all the chili so nobody can have chili, and do it. And
so there's about to be a chili shortage,
I'm
or you're just making Hormel?
I'm making Hormel up. But you can look, there's a list of all these factories, and one of them was a plane flew into it. I'm thinking, seriously, you think people are paying this kamikaze to fly into a fucking food plant? I mean, there's tons of food places that have been that are shut down, just like the baby formula deal.
Oh yeah.
If it was that big a problem to the people in the politicians, they would have had that thing running up quick. Donald Trump would have had that fucker going the first day.
Oh yeah.
The FDA people are going without. I don't have a baby, but that would be so frustrating to me to my baby be hungry and not be able to get something that you could go down and buy anytime.
Oh yeah, well that's the struggle I have is if you look at what do you care about as a society, right?
Yeah.
People are more worried about this other bullshit about are you a he or a she? How about fucking baby formula? Like that should get moved up to the top of the list. Energy at the top of the list, but we're too busy worrying about shit that really doesn't matter that much.
No,
like,
baby formula should be number one.
Exactly.
And they asked Joe Biden yesterday about it, and he ignored it and walked off.
He doesn't even know what it is, probably.
That's exactly right. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. He showed up in Buffalo and did a speech yesterday. There were 60 people there. The president of the United States is in your neighborhood. In Knox City, we could pull 60 people up, and we don't have 900 people in the whole town. But 60 of them would show up to see that dumbass talk. I'd be there just to see if he's fucking really alive.
Yeah, that's probably everybody that voted for him.
Yeah,
truly.
all 60 of them.
Yeah.
Tyson, you got Tyson's meat. You got.
I mean, there's tons of shit that's going on. It's just weird. Now, does that happen all the time and we just don't notice it?
Right.
I mean, they've had food recalls since I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's the thing with any good conspiracy. There's like 42% truth, and then like the rest is just like, we'll embellish a little bit.
When you go in a store and you see that shelves are not like they used to be, you really notice it. And when you talk to people at a grocery store, and they're like, But we've went to United lately, which is a grocery store we choose, free plug for you, Market Street, and they've had basically everything I've needed. I don't go down the baby aisle, though.
General Mills had one in Georgia. Just fucking flew right into it. And an unidentified plane crashed within miles.
Unidentified. We know every fucking plane that flies. Yeah. If someone crashes out in our fucking field, the FAA can tell you in 10 minutes who it is, where they came from, in the flight log.
Not
but it's
this
unidentified. That's the shit that, people, that's that Q people.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a Q if there wasn't a bunch of fucked up shit going on.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're 100% right, but I will say they're not 100% wrong.
No.
Right.
Everything
There's
Trump
some
has told us
fuckery.
is going to happen has pretty much went right by his book.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Trump Jr. tweeted, or not, he didn't tweet. It was on his Instagram, I guess. But it was a baby. 1923 is what it said. And like the baby is underneath a goat's udder. I guess goat milk and human milk is pretty close, but the baby was like sucking from a goat because there was no milk. So, but at least we get our fucking pronouns right.
Yeah.
God forbid that we call a he a she. I'll see if I can pull it up. I can put it on that big screen right there. But it's just, what a time to be alive right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So we had not too long ago. Let me. I thought. Oh, there it is, right there. Here we go. It's there on the big screen. That's what Trump Jr. They'll probably have flying cars by 2023. People in 2023. Not quite.
Yeah.
We tried, but we don't have any. We don't have any formula. But we had a biologist on not too long ago, and he said that as the birds get to their nesting ground, they'll spread out more, and then the bird flu will hopefully die out. So hopefully that's what we've seen.
Can you get Instagram on there?
I just pulled it up.
Look up Lisa Booth. And she's going to, I want this fucking Representative Dan Bishop, wherever the fuck he's from. Where are we betting this guy's from?
Who am I looking at? Lisa Booth?
Lisa Booth. And she's got it. Greg Price is the blue check that's got this on there. And the one that the Democratic abortion, do you believe men can become pregnant and have abortions? And he said yes. What state do you think he's from? I don't have a clue. Let's take a lucky guess.
I'll go New York.
New York. Andy?
That's Twitter, Jeff.
Twitter, I'm sorry.
I'm
going to guess Colorado.
I will say Washington State.
Okay.
Or no, Oregon. I'm going Oregon.
Look him up. Pull it up on Twitter.
Twitter?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you believe men can become pregnant and have abortions? Yes. That some bitch never got laid when he was in high school
No
or
way.
college.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's no way.
Hang on, give me a minute.
I mean, how can you go home and face your family like that? Boy, they're making fun of his ass at Thanksgiving. Somebody is. Check out old dumbass Dan over there. He thinks you can get an abortion if you got a pecker.
So I'm looking up Lisa Booth, or I'm looking up somebody
Lisa
else?
Booth or Greg Price. They both have it on there.
Greg Price. That's one thing.
Greg's got the old blue check mark that I don't have.
I see Greg Rice. I don't see Greg Price. Let me see.
I am a huge Twitter guy, but I don't tweet much on there. I don't.
Yeah, I don't follow that.
It's the only
much.
thing I haven't been thrown off of, though.
Oh.
I even got reprimanded by Instagram the other day.
You do like to go into Facebook jail. Seems
All,
like on a
all the
regular.
freaking time. I'm having to watch what I say. We got kicked off
We
YouTube.
got kicked off
for
YouTube because of what Jeff said.
Yeah, I don't even know what I said on YouTube. What did I say? Something
said
factual, probably about an election.
There was 3 hours ago. Yeah, that's what it was about.
FRAUD on the last ELECTION. I don't think them fuckers can spell, so.
All right, here it is.
I believe that everyone can identify for themselves.
Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes. Aramide?
Aramide? What do you say a woman is?
Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Excuse me, Mr. Bishop. You were the one asking the questions.
So they see there you
So,
go.
Mr.
Jeff.
Bishop, I owe you an apology.
You were projecting. So he's a Republican?
I guess so.
Why is it not playing it? This fucking fly's about to wear me out.
Oh, he did say that. It was represented. Mr. Bishop, I owe you a sincere apology, and if you will call me, I will send you a cap or a shirt, okay? Or a mug or a tumbler.
I don't know what just happened.
And I do want to tell you I'm proud of you for not calling her a stupid.
Oh yeah.
Because I would have had a hard time. I'd have laughed. I couldn't help that. I could have run for one of these spots. I got asked a long time ago to run for a spot as a representative. I probably would have never won, and I have a lot of skeletons in my closet I did not want out, so I wouldn't do it. But I could be sitting there asking them questions, and that's the shit I would ask. I'd be like, "Are you fucking serious?" And they'd be like, "Mr. Stanfield, you need to. The gentleman from Texas needs to shut the hell up."
Yeah.
But would you not have a hard time with that?
I'd have a hard time swallowing it.
Did you go to fucking biology class?
Right,
You know?
right.
Did you take Miss Wilson for biology? Because I didn't learn shit in English. Maybe she was teaching biology too.
Yeah, like it's not a trick question.
No, like this is pretty straightforward.
Fucking
Yes or no
hard,
will work
you know?
here.
You know, when I was in school, this is the way things have changed. This is how pussyfied we've become as a country. I used to sit in a class called biology, and I used to take a fucking needle, and I used to jab it in my fucking thumb or finger, and everybody else in class did, and we shot blood all over these glass slides, and we looked at them under microscopes. And the whole class did it. We all shared blood and shit.
I wouldn't do that.
Why?
I got the worst part about this is why I don't donate blood.
I'm the same as you. I don't like fucking.
I can do the needle in the arm, but when they go like, hey, I need to prick your finger,
It hurts.
it fucking.
I'm the same way, but you did
Hurts.
it. Well, if the hot blonde with the cones nobody else has, is she's getting her fucking finger pricked, you're getting your finger pricked also. You're like, yeah, you want to do it, Dolly? You know, they pop that fucker. But everybody did it. It was all glass and shit. Nobody thought nothing of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember seeing anybody sterilize shit either. They probably used the same bloody slides in the next class.
Yeah.
We all survived.
We just wash them off with Dawn and they're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fuck, if we even use soap, we just probably use water.
yeah.
And then we drank out of a water fountain, and we probably washed them in too. They had you'll push the nozzle and got. Boy, some of them would give good cold water. I don't even know if they have water fountains anymore.
They do them. Our school in town, they still do.
Do they have them in the school at Knox City still?
I don't know. We went to bottles pretty heavily during COVID.
Pussies.
Yeah.
You know, little water, little blood on the glass slides. But I mean, you never thought nothing. Can you imagine the protocol they would have to go through now?
Oh man.
That would be breaking news.
Yeah.
The kids are sharing blood. Well, yeah, and after school they share saliva. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Not during COVID season. I'm not.
So, did you invent the railgun?
No.
Did you have
work
something to do with the railgun?
on the railgun?
Brandon's awesome.
We have caught you in a spot here. I can
Yeah.
tell by his eyes. Is this some top secret shit you're not supposed to talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, the problem is when you do certain projects, you get handcuffed by
I understand.
NDAs and whatnot.
My
So
son's got one of those deals, so I know.
Michigan Tech was involved with, I would
First
say
of all,
research.
hold on. What is a railgun?
It's a gun that fires with electromagnetic force. So if you take a magnet on both sides, put a bullet in the middle, it's metallic. You can drive it with a electronic force to fire the magnet, and it pushes it, right? Two magnets repel. You can push it down. We can accelerate an object very quickly that way. Mm-hmm. And that's what a railgun basically is you
So
can-
it like
It's a death
fights-
machine.
Yeah.
How does it work? So I don't understand. So you got magnets on both sides,
Yep.
and then the bullet goes in the middle.
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to have these. If you've ever been to a scrapyard, they have that big arm that comes down,
Yep.
and you fire with electronics, and that makes it magnetic, and then it goes away. So you're going to have that lining two sides of like a gun or like a channel cup, and then you're going to have some sort of magnetized, we'll say North Pole magnetized magnet in the middle that's going to be your object. And what you'll do is you'll fire these little sequences down from the start, like from where you put your face on a gun all the way down to the tip of the barrel. And the faster, as you fire that one and it repels it, it moves it down the barrel. Well, you can accelerate it very quickly because you're not relying on a charge or a chemical reaction. It's electricity. I mean, it's basically instant.
So, what's the benefit of a railgun? The velocity of the bullet is faster.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get a really high velocity and you can make the object virtually whatever you want, which is beneficial.
What does that mean?
Well, you can have a very aerodynamic object that you're firing out into the sea or wherever it's going to, which in today's world it's not like ballistics are that bad on rifles.
Okay, what is this? Is a railgun.
There we go. Yeah.
Looks like something you'd seen the Nazis have during World War II.
So which image do you want me to pull up that would help you explain?
Oh, that one's
This
fine.
one?
Yeah.
So it's not a handheld type
No.
device.
No, not like that Russian guy down there, whatever that is. So you can.
So it's
see
on a ship.
Yeah,
Most of them.
I believe it was started with the Navy somehow, but yeah, there's an object that sits like in that saddle, and inside of that cup on the bottom is where going to be all those electrodes and magnetics are located, and it's just going to come flying out of there. You're gonna get a much higher like muzzle velocity than what you would with a cartridge or anything.
How big a cartridge is that thing shooting?
Projectile.
A projectile is the word.
Theoretically,
Yes.
probably like 300 millimeter would be a good dimension.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Millimeters and shit. I didn't know if
Yeah.
we was talking big as a fucking football or as the ship or what.
And you can go as big as you want. I mean, that's the nice part with a railgun is you can scaling. It's not a problem.
So 300 millimeters.
Yeah.
And it's going to be shooting that some bitch hypersonic.
Yeah.
How many? We just have a new missile that we're shooting that's hypersonic that we know about, which means it's been around for 30 years.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got something else we're doing. We're shooting UFOs out of the ass or some shit. But men can have babies now, so it's cool. What? How? That gun? How fast are we shooting? What's hypersonic?
Oh.
That 5 times the speed of sound.
It's gonna be at least time and a half past the speed of sound. I don't know what the current technologies are because this is all pretty dated, but it was past the speed of sound. Yeah, the way it's advanced today with current technology is probably way the hell up
3,000
there.
or 4,000 miles per hour.
I don't know about that fast. I'm trying to think of what the speed of sound or speed
It's
of sound
700,
is.
isn't it?
I want to say it was 1,200. But
That might be right.
Maybe. So we'll say 1,500 just for fun.
Right.
But so you don't have any propellant that goes in there. It's fairly quiet because it's just
So
coming out of there.
2,500 miles per hour is how fast it
Yeah.
goes. That'd knock your dick in the dirt. That's
The
faster than
speed of
boss.
sound is 343 meters per second.
Fucking
Very helpful.
yeah, no shit. How much is that in fucking feet
America.
per second or miles per hour?
Fuck.
Meters. Why the fuck do we fuck everything up?
Well, that's
I'm
the thing,
telling
though,
you
is
right
we're
now.
the only one.
America's behind.
Yeah.
Like we're the only ones that if you look
But
at
we're
the
the world
entire
power.
world,
Maybe everybody ought
Yeah.
to get off their meters and shit and get onto some yards and feet and inches. I absolutely could. I'm telling you
speed
right
of
now,
sound
meter I
is
flew.
767 miles per hour.
I was pretty close.
There you go.
I'm smarter than I sound. Miss Wilson, she didn't teach me everything.
So the magnets it'll shoot it out for you.
Yep. Just kind of speed it right out the barrel.
Who the fuck figures this out?
The same guy who did the atom stuff and everything else that they fucking do.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Super Collider? When I was a kid, that was a big thing. It was in East Texas, and I think George H. One of them fucking Bushes was the president then, and it was a thing they built where they split an atom. It was called Super Collider, and it was out in East Texas, 2 miles where it went in a circle. Now, I don't know how true this is. I've always been told this. This might be a wives' tale, and someone's going to check me on this. But I was told the guy who invented the MRI machine worked there. And he on the side, he figured out that he was working with magnets, and he noticed every time fucking magnets in his garage. Now, you got to be a real geek to have fucking magnets flying around your garage. Hope you never did this, but anyways, his TV would light up. And he went down to the Humane Society, and they had a dog they'd put down and bring it in there, and would put that behind it, and they could show that dog on that screen. Supposedly, that's the story behind the MRI machine. That's how it come around. He fucking got hit by a fucking dump truck.
Oh.
And died his days in a nursing home, and General Electric gave his family like $200,000 for his patent on the MRI machine, which I think is one of the greatest inventions. I say it's the greatest invention in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Andy
I'd say
says
so.
the iPhone is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We think different.
This was before this was a question that was posed to me when we first started the podcast. I think that the iPhone now, 5 years later, I don't think it's done. I think it's hurt us
Oh, it's horrible
as
for
a society
all smartphones have.
in
yeah.
large. But
Just-
it was called the Superconducting Super Collider, or the let me see here.
I can't think of anything that
Large
saved more
Hadron
lives
Collider.
than
Absolutely.
RMI has, in MRI machine has in the last 30 years. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an everyday process. They learned how to make them smaller and compact, but it's a great invention. This is put back. I've got one. Everyone here's got a fucking iPhone or smartphone. Smartphone have put us back in the world. I mean, technology's killed us.
yeah.
But if it wasn't for smartphones and social media right now, we wouldn't know how fucked up our government is. So maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword there, right? I mean, that's the problem I have with social media and whatnot is it's a good conduit to communicate back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's also the same thing. Like, what type of shit are you getting on there? Because 9 times out of 10, it seems like it's all bullshit anyway. So.
Well, we got kicked off YouTube And I think they need a platform for people. You know what? There's
Well,
shit
they
on
have
YouTube
it.
that I don't want to watch, so I don't watch it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to listen to opinionated assholes from Knox City, don't watch our YouTube channel.
Yep.
You know, if you're basing your life information off of us, whew, you need to do some fucking follow-ups.
And that's the thing. So the superconducting super collider was in Waxahachie, Texas, and it got scrapped in the 1993.
I think Bill Clinton or George W. Somebody that they didn't get funding from it, but it was a platform to do some research. We need stuff like that.
Yeah.
The guy down at Boca Chica, Texas, Elon, he's doing his shit mostly private. He's paid back all the government money. He's doing a lot of good for society. I mean, there are things that he's going to develop and research and understand that we just, because he has such a complex brain, and the average person like Andy, he can't understand what's going on too. He don't get it all.
I get it.
But he, seriously, the electric car deal, I don't have a problem with someone who wants to drive an electric car. The electric truck, my problem is where I live at, it's not conducive to our lifestyle because I drive all the time 300 miles in a day,
Yeah.
a lot. Well, I don't want to go somewhere, and if I leave my house today, I want to go to the casino. It's 120 miles from my house. So, you know what? Tell Michelle at 7 o'clock tonight, you know what? I'm going to go casino. I'm not tired. I'm going to sleep in the morning. I don't have to get up early. So I'm going to call Buddy and see if he wants to go. Okay. I got to my truck, and I got an eighth of a tank of gas in it. Fuck, I can go down there, and I fill that sumbitch up in 5 minutes, and we're on the road.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit around until 10 or 30 or 11 o'clock at night to let my car charge up. If we drive to St. Louis when we go to Squad Fest, we're not
Right.
flying, we're driving. And we drive up there 10 hours. Where the fuck are we going to stop at on the way? You know, in Rolla, Missouri and stop for 6 hours? Fuck, we're 100 miles from where we want to go. And that's
Yeah.
the kind of shit you drive all the time.
Oh yeah, I drive all the time. I mean, hell, trying to find diesel pumps can be a pain in the ass
Yeah.
sometimes. So I can't imagine when they talk about bringing the infrastructure around to the point where you can have it. We could get there eventually, and that's cool if it does. But you can't press that onto people and say, "Oh, well, why aren't you doing it?" Well, like I literally can't do it. It's just, what about guys hauling cattle to the stockyard?
Yeah.
You're gonna do that? I mean, even if you built a truck that's fully capable of doing it, you can't.
The motherfucker's
Right?
going to make fun of you anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
But time-wise, how many times in a day? Because I drive a lot. I drove home from fucking Cleveland one day. I drive. I don't mind going. I probably filled up 3 times on that trip. How many times have you filled up more than once in a day going somewhere? Lots.
Yeah, lots.
Do you got 6 hours to stop and fill up your fucking truck?
No.
We stopped and we went to North Dakota hunting a couple of years ago, and we stopped in Garden City, Kansas outside, and I stopped at a little pay pump, middle of nowhere, western Kansas, about like stopping in Knox City would be to someone. And I got gas. There wasn't nowhere to fucking stay if we'd had to stay up there for 6 hours.
Now, this says 20 minutes for 50%, 40 minutes for 80%, 75 minutes for 100%.
See, if you got a restaurant to go into to eat, you
it's
can
not
do
a
it.
bad deal.
But-
But if you're, like you said, you have to pay attention to the impromptu trip is gone
Yeah.
all of a sudden.
And I'm an impromptu guy.
right.
I've many times, me and Michelle are sitting at 1 o'clock on a Sunday, and let's go to Papa Do's and eat. And we go to Fort Worth to eat lunch or dinner that night or whatever it is. Fuck, can't do it. Oh, goddamn, car's not charged.
I
up.
need an hour.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
But hold on, Mom takes a minute to get ready.
2.5 hours, so we'd have time. We
so
can fill it
you
up twice.
we're going. Start getting ready. I'll go charge the car.
Yeah.
I'll meet you back here.
And I'm sure you would get in a habit then if you charge your car every night.
Right.
You know, it's.
Well, you got to have the charger in your house.
Well, I would have one if I had one.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
But it's not conducive travel. Plus, they go 400 miles on one fill up.
I can
That's 5 hours at 80 miles an hour. I fit in that time frame. Sometimes it's about 4.5 hours. You
now,
know,
I'm also looking at the pickup because if I got one,
that's what I would have
that's
too. I
what I
like the
would
truck.
get. I would
I was
get
going
the
to
pickup.
stop and I looked for Elon when we was there, and I missed him by 4 days because he was there the other day with the president of Indonesia looking around talking about getting some kind of rocks they're going to crush. That smart bastard, you know what he's wanting to do now? You're probably in on the inside since you got that
500 miles.
high government clearance. He's found a rock in the ocean that they can melt to make the skins for those rockets.
Really?
Fucker is just, I mean, somebody else sees a rock. Christopher Columbus, he didn't think about doing that shit, but fucking Elon Musk did.
Musk now says that 621 miles of range is capable for the Tesla Semi.
Well, see, that's not even enough for them guys.
No, but
No.
if you're going to push an electric vehicle, that would be the route to go.
Yes.
You know, replace semis with electricity. I mean, everybody's life is just so different. It's hard to get something that covers all that. But you get a truck driver, you know he's going to burn out 1,200 miles in a day. So make an electric truck, and on their logbooks, right, they're going to have to stop.
They can't drive 1,200 a day.
What is it, 900? Whatever they can do.
They're only supposed to drive, I think, 10 hours.
Yeah, I know they have an hour, whatever their log.
700 miles, let's say.
Okay.
Then.
So you know that they have a fixed distance they have to go, and then they have to rest. So if I were a person trying to develop it, that would be the first place I go. It's a
deal.
fixed.
650 miles is all you're allowed to drive.
Okay.
You get a lot lizard and a supercharger done at every
Exactly.
truck stop.
Well, it's technically two superchargers,
Yep,
right?
but that's right. But that is a perfect plan for someone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a truck driver that's going to fact check me because they can drive 14 hours a day or whatever
No,
it is.
it's 11.
They can drive 11 hours?
11-hour driving shift. This amounts to 605 to 650 miles per day.
They drive slower than I do, too.
Yeah.
They can. You can't fucking get a semi that's going 80.
Fuck, I've seen a lot of them motherfuckers.
Get a hot
they're
shot
not
driver
supposed
out of
to.
Houston.
I got passed the other day between San Antonio and El Paso, and the fucker was going. I was going 90, and he passed me like I was standing still.
No.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Hell yeah.
I was worried about
Ride
him
him up.
motherfucker on the edge. No, I
Ride
was
him
like,
up.
Fuck no. I was like, there's me a front door.
The other day,
Yeah.
I was driving. We went somewhere, and it was a 2-lane highway, and I pull out, and this trucker, he's way down there. I pull out safely. I'm fine. But there was a slow driver in the right lane, like driving like 60. So I'm getting up speed. So I'm probably going 60, 62, but I'm passing this guy that's on the right. The trucker finally catches me, and he's like, fuck you. Fuck, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, motherfucker, I just pulled out. I'm trying to pass this guy. I'm not going to fucking romp on it.
Are we supposed to feel sorry for you?
Yes.
You're like an old fucking lady.
I'm not driving like an old lady. I'm accelerating, Jeff. I'm accelerating, and I'm trying to safely pass the driver on my right. He should tap the fucking brake. It's what it's there for, dickhead.
The truck driver
Fuck
was right.
you. Why?
Because you pulled out in front of him. That's bullshit.
I didn't pull out in front of him. I was safe. It was safe.
That pisses me off too. I can't stand. And my
It was safe.
my biggest pet peeve in the whole world is someone driving in the left fucking lane. I don't know who teaches these young fucking
So I
people
stayed
to drive.
in the left lane. Fuck that guy.
Oh, fuck that. I'd been on your ass. I'd have honked at you. I'd get right on your desk.
Fuck
But that
him.
makes me madder than hell. Why do you drive in the left lane if you're not passing somebody? If you're going 95 and you're passing everybody, stay in the left lane. I don't care because ain't nobody passing you. I pass a lot of people, but if I see somebody coming up on me that's faster, I get over and let them pass me. I get behind them as a front door.
Like, how fucking hard is it for you to tap on your brake just a little
Them
bit?
trucks don't just stop on a dime.
Fuck him. He
gotta
had plenty
speed
of
up.
time.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
He's right
Hit
now.
on the brake just a little bit.
He's on some trucker podcast talking about some dickhead in a new Ford pickup driving like fucking Miss Daisy.
I wasn't driving like Miss Daisy.
I've
He
rode
was
with you a
down
lot.
there.
You drive like Miss
I
Daisy.
drive 85 everywhere that I go.
Huh?
Oh, you got
You're
a
so
fucking
full of
mouse in your
sh-
pocket,
you're so
huh?
full of shit. I'm always, Michelle's like,
Who?
slow down,
We got an
slow
owl in
down,
here?
Slow down so Andy can catch up.
I drive 85 everywhere that I go. Everywhere.
And
So
for everybody
I was
that's good-
accelerating. I was trying to get past the guy that was on my right because he was driving like a slow driver.
So you're telling me this trucker was going 90 then?
At least.
You Mingo, you just got on to me when I said he passed me.
At least.
Yeah. And I was on the road, the interstate between San Antonio and El Paso. I think the speed limit's 85 there.
How fucking hard is it for him to hit the brake? He's just being an asshole.
Yeah, but then you got to slow down. Then you got to get back in it. Get the
Fuck
boost
him.
built back
He was
up.
just being a dickhead.
You know, that's
what
a-
he'd been, he was at the end of his 11 hours and he needed a break. I hope the
He
fucking
needed to
highway.
get to his lot lizard. That's,
That's
what
right.
he needed to.
And
yeah.
a supercharge. That's one job I think I would have enjoyed doing.
Fuck that.
Driving a truck.
There ain't
I
no
love seeing
fucking way.
America, and I love seeing the back roads and stuff. I think it'd be
You
fun.
don't see the
Oh, yeah.
back roads. You
Well,
see
you see
fucking,
interstate, but-
you see 20
but
100 times a year.
I would have me a CB. I wonder if they still do a lot of CB talking and stuff back and forth.
I don't know.
That was so cool. That would have been the best time to be a truck driver at CB and talk about the fuzzes up there and check out the boobs on that chick when she passed you and
Yep.
see that dickhead in the Ford. See that dickhead in the Ford pickup driving like Miss Daisy.
Fuck him, Jeff.
Yeah.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Well,
And
why
the
didn't you
chick-
Why didn't you flip him off and get out of the car and whip his ass in?
I would have.
Yeah.
It's too hard for him to slow down that much.
Yeah. Old truck
Shit.
driver beat your ass.
That motherfucker didn't suck on his mama's titty enough to fuck with me.
Ah, shit.
He didn't, Jeff.
I got a couple buddies of mine, they're truck drivers that listen to this. They're gonna fucking send me a message on
Fuck
this.
that cocksucker. He can go take a horse bath at the fucking rest stop that's coming up there. We were coming back from skiing this last year. And the guy had been on the road for too long. And, like, I walk in to take a piss at, where's the place in New Mexico?
Text line or two?
No.
Clayton,
That might be it. But anyway.
Cimarron.
Cimarron, I think. No, it's not Cimarron.
That's only two places you go through.
No,
Did you go to Raton?
Yeah, I think, that was the way we came back. But we walk into this place. I got to take a piss. And the guy, he's like standing at the sink and he's just fucking horse bath. And I'm like, oh, goddamn. Brushing his teeth, blowing his nose in the sink. I'm like, Jesus Christ, your fucking bathroom habits are something else.
That's what I do in the backyard every morning.
I think it was Springer. Might have been right on 25.
Yeah, it was Springer, right when you get onto the other road.
Because there's a bunch of like big time trucker places, but he's like, I didn't even know people blew their nose in their sink.
No, I didn't. I
No.
did in the backyard though.
But he's fucking just fucking blowing shit, and I'm like, God damn, that's how COVID got started. People fucking blowing their nose in the sink.
I brush my teeth and pee in the backyard about every
Have you
morning.
ever brushed your teeth at a fucking truck stop though? This guy did.
No, but I'm gonna tell you what. If I've brushed my teeth on the side of the road before though. If I've drove all night, I can't stand to not have my teeth brushed. I brush them twice a day, 3. I've rubbed the plaque off them fucker. My dentist told me I brushed too hard. My toothbrush does. It looks like fucking Fred Flintstone been rubbing that some bitch. It's all beat down. Michelle makes fun of me all the time. I go through a toothbrush about every 2 months.
Oh.
But I can't stand to not have my teeth brushed. So yeah, I probably have. Not in a truck stop bathroom.
He did.
No.
I got a toothbrush in my fucking office in the closet in there. I got a Ziploc bag. I got Crest in my toothbrush, and I brush them before dinner here all the time.
I can see if you needed to do it. I was coming back from Qatar, and the work camp I was in, I was there I think 2 or 2.5 weeks, and there was no shower.
Oh.
So it's
Oof.
whatever it is in C, but 110 to 120.
Oh.
You do not have a shower for 2.5 weeks. Oh, that would drive me
Oh,
nuts.
fuck.
One thing about you stink so bad you don't know everybody else stinking.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing though. Is so I'm on my return flight, and
Oh.
like it doesn't smell like it smells a little bit, but it doesn't seem that bad. And then you get on a plane that smells good,
Yeah.
and you see everybody look, and I'm like, oh, like this is
It's me.
It's real bad. So I land in Paris at Charles de Gaulle, and I go into the bathroom and I just strip down and just wash myself in the sink, get all cleaned up as clean as I can.
Take
Have
a
must smell
horse
good now.
bath.
yeah, I mean, and there's people coming in. It's businessmen coming in with nice shoes, and here I am, buck naked, washing up in the sink. Because I'm like, I can't go. It's 8.5 hours from Charles de Gaulle to Detroit. I'm like, I can't do this the whole way. It's
Can
not
you
fair to me
imagine
or other people.
The little French fuckers. He ain't American. Yeah, motherfucker, if it wasn't for my granddaddy, your ass would be speaking German.
yeah.
Poo-poo.
So, let me ask you then. Over there, what's the worst food you've ever had over there? Not in Paris, but
No,
in
like
Qatar?
UAE or
Yeah.
Saudi. Saudi's pretty bland. Any of those Muslim countries are pretty. It's just pilaf, really bland stuff. It's not bad food.
How'd
it's
you
just
say
not
it?
good.
Pilaf?
Pilaf,
Is that pilaf?
pilaf.
Pilaf. I've never heard it, so they pronounce it pilaf. It's
the
probably
Yankee in
the
me,
way you
so.
say it might be saying the right way. I don't know. I thought it was pilaf.
Could be.
Like shrimp pilaf is the rice with some French or Italian dressing on it.
Yeah. Except it's just all plain there.
Just plain ass fucking rice.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
They have camel. Do they eat camel over there?
No, not that I
They
had.
just ride them. They don't eat them.
Yeah.
I guess that's a cloven hoofed animal or something. They did that,
It's got a
right?
split hoof.
So they can eat it. I thought they didn't eat cattle.
I
They
don't
don't
know
eat
what that-
cows though, do they?
It's got a split hoof.
I'm asking you. This is okay, Michelle. This is the shit we do at the house. I don't understand. Is a cow? They don't eat cows. Muslims don't eat cows. They eat goats.
Everything goats, yes.
They eat goats.
Yeah.
Is a goat, a camel, and a cow? They have different feet, I guess.
Shit, I don't know.
You know one thing?
I've heard of camel toe. I've never heard of goat
Yeah,
toe.
no shit. I've seen some girls had a moose knuckle.
Yeah.
In the Quran and reports by early Muslim, forbidden fruit includes pork, carnivores, lions, tigers, wolves, dogs. Non-ruminants, donkeys, horses.
Yep.
Animals that were slaughtered in the name of God other than Allah. Animals that died due to illness, injury, stunning, poisoning.
So a Muslim will eat beef. They won't eat pork. That's what it is. They will
Yeah.
eat beef. They won't eat pork. And a lot of that, I think, to do with I listened to a guy talking about this one day. I'm not a great religious guy. I believe in God. Jesus died for my sins. I know that. I know where
That's
I'm
where
going.
it stops.
But other than that, if you ask me to give you my favorite scripture, we're going to be in big trouble. I'm going to have to do a lot of bullshitting on that deal. But
It is finished.
the guy told me, I was listening to a podcast pretty interesting. He was talking about this, the pork. He said the reason a lot of those laws were there because they didn't have refrigeration and salmonella. And that made a lot of sense to
That
me.
makes a lot of sense.
Well, and like there's some religions that don't let you eat fish, I guess. It was red tide.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'd be
A lot of this is going to sound bad. A lot of stuff
well, this is going to be bad if Andy said that.
a lot of stuff that is religious knowledge is just somebody did it and people died from it. Like
Yeah.
red tide or not cooking pork enough.
Men having abortions.
Or I mean, just anything. It's just we did this, the village suffered, so like, ooh, fuck, God hates us, so don't eat fish ever again. Don't cook that pork. Don't eat that pig. And then, you can just make your reasons after that.
I would say that it was easy to sell a line of goods to a bunch of people back then, but now we're looking like a bunch of dumbasses here. But if you look at the Salem witch trials and shit,
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of little girls fucking ruined a bunch of whole communities' lives. So when the food over there, they don't have a fucking place to take a shower. So I can't imagine that you're getting fresh food.
Well, it depends on where you're at. So I was at a refinery in the middle, and I was 2.5 hours out of Damam. So it's just, you're in the middle of a desert.
They don't have nowhere to take a bath. That just shocks me.
Yeah.
Those are one of them. I thought they just stunk over here, all of them.
No, well, I mean, you could go into the city, and that hall had running showers and whatnot. It just depends on where
But
you're
you
at.
walked around smelling like a 7-Eleven, because if
Oh,
you go to
yeah.
a big city, that's what they smell like, is fucking body odor.
Yeah, well, that may be a little bit of a showering in America is way different than it is elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah,
in
we
Europe
use soap and water.
Yeah, I mean, in Europe it's not that popular. Or you go to a third
Showering
world
in
countries.
general?
Yeah, we shower a lot.
And we take
Once
long
a day.
showers because
Yeah.
we're spoiled by our water. Just
Yeah.
like brushing your teeth. How many people actually turn off the spigot when they're brushing their teeth? They just let the water run
Think
the whole
about
time.
toilet water.
right.
I mean, we flush,
Good water.
we shit in water that's drinkable,
Yes.
and in countries that don't even have water,
Drinking
right?
water.
Yeah, I mean, you go to India. There's,
Yeah, motherfuckers shitting in the river and drinking out of it.
yeah, I mean, they're drinking out of legit shit. In Mumbai, absolutely.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
Mumbai?
yeah,
Oh, fuck all
absolutely.
them Shitholes.
Yeah.
Really?
When you watch James Bond and he's in them shitholes, when he's staying at the Four Seasons, everybody else is staying in the shitholes.
Yeah.
Shit's bad over there.
Really bad. Like when you're landing into Mumbai, I mean, that last 2 minutes coming in is nothing but blue tarps, and those people have no power, no money, no bathrooms, no drinking water. I mean, they have nothing, just absolutely nothing. So your choice is, do I go drink shit water or die? And that's what they pick.
Could you imagine if we'd have sent the same money there that we sent to Ukraine? Which we don't owe nobody shit anyways. That's
No.
what wears me out. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you could get a whole lot more money bang for your buck down there than you are in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's so, because, you look at kids over here and we're fucking, the children over here are spoiled. I'm bad about it also because my kids are spoiled, but there's kids that don't even have clean drinking water.
Lots,
yeah.
majority of the people in
Majority
the
of
world.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, China, Indonesia, any of those
Yeah.
small
And China,
Pacific
a country that's making everything for us, though they live 1% live great. The other, I'm going to say half the people there live in squalor.
I bet you it's more than that.
It's horrible. But yeah, you're right. And you know what's bad here? Our poor fucking kids got damn $1,200 phone.
They've got
Never
an
understood
iPhone.
that
They
shit.
got cable.
dude.
They've got
Yeah.
a refrigerator. They got a refrigerator.
And if they
that's
don't
that's the fucking ultimate flex. A long time ago, if you had a refrigerator, think about it, in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. If you had a refrigerator, fuck, you're shitting in high cotton.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one now. Everybody's got a flat screen TV now.
And now, if mom and daddy don't have a job, the government's going to give you a house with a refrigerator.
Yeah.
And air conditioning at reduced rates and everything else.
because it's
Wears
a
my ass
a
out.
human right,
Yeah.
but
That's-
not elsewhere.
Okay, you're a religious guy, Andy. You're deacon in your church.
I'm
You're
not
in
a
charge.
deacon.
You're in charge of hiring the new preacher and writing him a check. So that's pretty far up there.
At this point,
They don't even let me touch the money deal. When I go to church, first of all, my preacher makes fun of me because I don't hardly ever go and has to use me as stand-up
he points
comedy.
you out.
He
Jeff
does.
Stanfield's here. What's the occasion?
Yeah, all the time. Is it Mother's Day? This is
Is it Easter?
August.
We have an Easter again.
So they don't even let me look at the plate when it comes by.
Yeah,
But you're a religious guy.
I think we. Yeah,
We can.
okay.
You're a good Christian guy, a lot better than me. I'm not going to. If you're
I
on the side of the
studied-
road and you want to, I'm not going to walk across the street and save your soul. That's up to you. Andy might help you out.
No,
more.
I'm not either.
Okay.
I look at religion.
Okay.
It's very fascinating.
Anywhere in the Bible does it say that it's a God-given right to do an abortion? I didn't think so. It wasn't a trick question. Just curious, man. I keep hearing it's against my. It's my right to have an abortion. I don't know where
Did
it
you
says
see that it's infringing upon? I'll see if I can find this in just a second. It's infringing upon the rights of gay people.
To what?
Abortions.
No shit. How's that work out?
They
can't get pregnant.
Somebody had a list, and it was, I'll have to find it, but it said the people that are going to suffer from the overturning of Roe v. Wade. It was poor, minority, LGBTQIA plus, and then there were like 3 or 4 other bullet
If they're
points.
true gay, they're not going to have kids.
I'll try to find it and pull it up for you.
The
But
best
yeah,
one-
it said that the gay community was going to suffer.
The Commerce Secretary come out and said that if we do away with abortions, it's going to hurt the country's economy. Now, in our little community of Knox City, I don't know where the hell it's going to make any fucking difference at all.
Right.
I don't know anybody that's had an abortion in our community in 10 years. I'm sure there are some. I don't know who they are. 20 years, 25. I don't know anybody that's had an abortion here. I'm sure there's somebody who has it. I don't know how it's affected my pocketbook.
Yeah.
You know? We're going to take $3 out of your checking account, Jeff, because so-and-so down the street had an abortion yesterday. Huh?
But I want to go back. So when you go over to overseas the first time, were you pretty comfortable in, because I mean the customs are different over there. So were you kind of in your head a little bit about, well, fuck, what am I going to do something wrong? Are they going to come after me? I'm in a Muslim country now.
A little bit. I don't know. The first time I went over was going to India, and it was a complete. I've never stepped foot on a plane. Never did anything. Hell, I bet my furthest trip would have been from like Michigan to probably Canada to Ontario. That's about it.
Right.
So I had zero prep work. Showed up, no cell phone. You just show up and figure it out. So if I offended somebody, we're just gonna have to figure it out.
Oh fuck.
But when I went to the Middle East the first time, there was an old field service guy that had done it for 30 years, and he gave me, here's what you need to know. You don't do this, like Saudi in particular. In UAE, you're really not getting into Bahrain, UAE, Qatar. You can't get into too much of trouble because Americans are around. Saudi, though, they're kind of looking for a reason
to take you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's probably the sketchiest place, which seems a little bit odd because it's not horrible per se. It's a safe area, but they're the ones that will enforce Sharia law. So you got to just mind your P's and Q's, common sense. And if somebody comes up, like I was talking to a lady programmer at the refinery, and the guy pulled me aside and just told me, well, you can't do that. You can't talk to a woman.
You can't talk to a woman?
No.
How the fuck you supposed to communicate with her? Write her a letter?
Well, she's writing my fucking program. How is she supposed to do what I need her to do if I can't talk to her? Fucking magic?
What did he say?
Well, what I had is a translator. So they had a guy that was a Muslim that worked for the refinery, and I could tell him, and then he could go talk to her. So they had a little
Because she was a
workaround.
Muslim?
Yes, it had something to do with the requirements that I wasn't
You
allowed
couldn't talk to a Muslim woman.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. These people over here think we free speech, freedom of religion, blah, blah, blah. They're fighting for these fuckers that have none of that shit.
Right.
And they're too stupid to figure it out. I mean, the Democratic Party, they're all for the Muslim Brotherhood and all that kind of stuff. They're throwing gay people off the roof. Well, I think the majority of gay people that vote Democrat. You know, you have a little conflict of interest, they're going to throw your ass off a fucking building, you know. Wake up. I don't understand how J. Paul Getty is the one that built the oil field over there, right?
Which one? Oh, in
Saudi Arabia.
I believe you're correct.
J. Paul Getty is the one
Yeah.
that did all that.
Yeah.
But then the Saudi government come over and took it away and done it all. Then we've done business with them ever since.
Yeah.
I do not understand how that worked.
Well, it's really comes down to convenience. I mean, you can't really take it away as much as we'd like to, and it's really good crude oil. So
No, I understand why we're doing it. It's because money.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just amazing that they can nationalize something like that.
Oh yeah.
And J. Paul Getty was a weird dude, boy. You ever seen his stuff on him, Andy? Mm-hmm. He used to have to get a shot in his pecker so he could have sex.
He was quite the womanizer.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? God almighty. That's really having to make a decision.
Well, that was
Yeah.
before Viagra.
I don't give a shit. That's still having to make a tough decision.
If I got a shot, I was going to be
Good.
doing
Well-
something with it.
Well, he was, because he had them in and out. He had 14 wives at the same time or something. He was
I don't know if
quite
I'd
the,
want
he-
14 wives. But
No shit. But he had, I think he had 2 or 3 different wives live with him at the same time. I watched the documentary. He's a pretty interesting dude. But to get his shot, I'm thinking, boy, she must really be hot.
Yeah.
But the Sharia law scares me because I wouldn't know what I was fucking up. Like I'm afraid I would offend somebody and then like I'm arrested.
You know, chop your arm off or some
Well,
shit.
the thing is, you're probably not going to get into trouble.
Because they need you.
Yeah. Also, it depends how you react to the situation, right? If you come in and, like, I'm talking to that lady, I'm not supposed to, and they tell me I can't, and I go, fuck you, I'm going to, that'll probably get you in trouble.
Jeff Stanfield would not last long up there.
But if you just roll with it, and go, I just said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, how can we do this? And we worked it out. But in other countries, like in Dubai, it's not a big deal. Abu Dhabi, it's not a big deal. You just kind of do whatever, and they roll with it. It's very westernized.
Have you been to Abu Dhabi?
Yep.
What
Many
is that
times.
place like? Because I see it on Instagram and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty swag, pretty
It is?
fancy. Yeah.
What has made? Is it all oil that's made that place
yeah.
so rich?
Money.
Yep. Yeah,
It's all oil.
Yeah, and their city center's all based off engineering firms and oil companies.
And they went and built. It's a small population base, correct?
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, let me know. And they went in and built all this fancy stuff to spend their money in to attract other people to come here. And that's what they've done other than the other places. Because I think Saudi Arabia, like Riyadh and a couple of them places are really pretty nice, but you get outside of it and it's pretty much squalor.
It's just like, I always say the Middle East is an inverse of the United States. Like here, if you find an oil refinery, it's in the butthole of Oklahoma, right?
Right.
But you go over there, it's probably going to be in a pretty nice area because everything thrives off of it. Probably when like oil refineries were started here, everything's based off of it. Dubai is a little bit interesting because there's not a refinery there. It's more of the populace kind of centered there because it works out good. And once you get this collection of people with a ton of money, more people tend to go there. And it's local. I mean, you can fly from like Dubai to basically anywhere in the Middle East. It's got to be a 3-hour flight probably and go anywhere you want. So it's a really nice localized place.
It's funny what you said about you're right about in America, most of the refineries are in shittier places. It's kind of like the sewer plant. If they got a sewer plant in your neighborhood, you're probably not playing golf at the country club.
Yeah.
And I saw in Dubai they like made these artificial islands. What there's like is there
palms.
a Gulf or something like that they've done this in?
Yeah. They
is
mine
it-
sand and pile it out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
It's called the Palms, I
The
think.
palms, yeah, and it looks like a big palm tree.
Yeah, and it's just got all the leaves on it. People buy up there and they live there. And
But it's pretty safe there in Dubai.
It's
Might
super
be my
safe.
next vacation.
It's
I don't know.
it's really cool. I mean, if you wanted to go somewhere, it's
why?
Fuck, I don't know.
it's
Jeff.
baller status like
No
over there.
shit.
I'm just talking out of my ass.
You're getting
here.
a big ass raise somewhere.
Is it expensive over there?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, hotel rooms are pretty much the same. Food's pretty much
So
the
see
same.
you there, Jeff?
Andy's Miami. Andy stays on South Beach in Miami, so you'll be right up your boat. That's what it is. Today we're talking about because our flight is going. We're flying on 777 or a bigger plane.
Yep.
And Andy's like, "Oh, once you fly on these, you'll never fly back.
You'll never go back.
And I said, "Flying back, we fly from San Juan
might be.
to Miami, and from Miami we're flying to. So I think coming home we're gonna be on a regular size plane, just a normal 737 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Andy's a big baller now once you fly like this. So that's when you fly to Abu Dhabi, you'll get to fly on a big. You can even fly on Air Emirates because they got the best first class. It looks like.
Oh hell yeah, they do. I love the United Emirates flight.
You're
Straight-
talking.
Have
you're
you
talking
flown
to
on
me.
those?
Oh, yeah.
Have you flown in first class there?
Absolutely. It's
See
like,
there?
$15,000 a ticket, isn't it?
close. Yeah.
But the company's paying for it, so you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Doesn't bother me at all.
You can smell like 2.5 weeks old shit there, and you're all right.
Yeah.
Is that where they have like the beds and stuff like that in the rooms? What is that?
Well,
I've seen Jennifer Aniston in the
Yeah.
commercials.
Well, I'm trying to remember the actress. Who's the chick off Twilight? I flew with her one time.
Please.
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
I knew Andy would know. I have no clue.
But it depends. Like a 777 is going to have the wide body with the herringbone layout seats. Airbus, I think 320 has the lay flats, but the Emirates airline has the little. It's a room.
Cubicle.
Yeah, it's a cubicle with a little red draw, and it's all really nice.
Is the food service pretty good on that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Really?
Well, because you're as a Westerner, generally, as long as you're coming out of Europe or the U.S., you're going to have two food options. So you can have like the local country of the Middle East, which is going to be rice, or you
Pilaf.
can get pilaf or whatever,
Pilaf.
or you can get a steak or chicken. So you'll get a good food choice. I mean, they don't feed you shit when you're in first class.
I want
Is this it
to.
over here? So this one, pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. There'll be a little on the bottom of it. There'd be a little draw curtain right there, and that should be a lay flat seat. That's not a lay flat, but
Go to the one that had the dude in the
The Arab
in
dude.
the full camel outfit.
He's not. That's private, Jeff.
yeah,
Come
that's
on.
private.
Come on, Jeff. Get with it. You got to be able to spot your. Here's the one I was talking about, though. It's got like a fucking bed.
That looks like a pilot or a stewardess quarters.
First class with a shower.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, you could have used that one, couldn't you?
I could definitely use that one.
What's the? Here's another one. Unforgettable flight to Dubai with Arab Emirates.
I did not take that one.
See there? Cheap first class. Yeah, fucking.
There is nothing, no such thing as that shit.
How
Yeah.
long is the flight over there that you need a bed?
It depends where you're coming out of.
Fuck,
It's probably
I've-
12 hours.
Fuck, I've flown from Lubbock to Dallas before and wish I'd have had a bed.
Yeah, it's nice.
Every time I've ever flown from Las Vegas to Lubbock, I wish
That's
I had
like
a
a
bed.
normal one. That'll be just a normal business class.
Those are fucking peasants.
But fuck, that's nice right there.
Oh,
compared
they're
to what
fucking peasants, Jeff.
I was coming out of Singapore. I don't remember the airline, but that one you had your own little cube, and you had a cell phone that you were assigned, and you could call out mid-flight. This was 6-7 years ago, so that was unthinkable at the time. Those are nice.
The bar?
Yeah, so that's going to be a 2-story plane, whatever model that
I
is.
thought the Muslims didn't like alcohol.
Well, that's the thing. Once you get out of the view of Allah, you can do whatever you want. We call it the strip club walk. So when you'd fly out of country, they would announce, we're now exiting Saudi airspace. And one by one, these ladies would go back, take off their garb, their bursk or whatever they call it, and they'd come out in a fucking tube top, mini skirt, whatever.
No way.
No shit on your flight?
Oh, yeah, on the flight.
Let me
They're
tell you
like,
something. The last couple of flights I've been on, first of all, the last flight I was on, we had 2 men and 1 woman. I didn't want to see him in a tube top. But I have not had a hot way. Andy had a hot stewardess hit on him, he says, coming back from Miami last time.
She wanted my junk.
Yeah, that happens.
I was
Been
sitting
there.
there minding my own business.
And kept hitting the button.
I'm watching The Quiet Place 2, focused in. I've got my earbuds in, and she like comes up to me. And I'm like, oh, this was when you still had to wear a mask on the plane. My lovely wife is across the aisle, and I'm watching the movie, and she comes up to me. I'm like, oh, fuck, what have I done? Because I'm paranoid. I'm not a good traveler. And she's like, did you ask for the earbuds? I'm like, they're in my ears right now. Like, I don't need your.
That was code.
That was code. Yeah, like take me to the bathroom now and pound me.
Yep.
I didn't do it, of course, because my wife is right there, but she wanted me.
So
I
if
could-
Jesse wouldn't
I
have been
could
there,
tell.
you would have done that.
Huh?
So if Jesse wasn't there, you would have done that.
She was holding me back.
Okay, she's holding you back.
She was holding me back.
So like on our flight to Minneapolis, when we go, it's just me and you. If this happens again, you're
no. I give him this number. I give him this number. So what I did, I was like, honey, did you order earphones? You know, let her know, like, hey, she's coming at me pretty.
I'm about to be a victim.
Yeah,
Who gets hit on more, you or Jesse?
me.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
By men or women?
Men.
Men hit on you more than her.
Way more.
Okay.
Way more. But I did. It was an uncomfortable situation, and I probably should have complained on her, but I didn't. because
Complained on her.
That's
Filed an official
unprofessional.
complaint.
It's unprofessional.
You imagine being her boss? Some hard dick said you're hitting on him, did you? Who, that dumbass that needed some headphones? Hell no. I didn't think so.
I just had the wrong row. I didn't realize. No, but 12 hours is a long time on a plane. We had looked at, so we had our 10-year anniversary. We went to St. Lucia, but we looked at Bora Bora, but it was like 12 hours, 16 hours, whatever. And that's a long time.
You just got to do that. That's the best way is budget and save, or find a company to pay for it, and do business class, because that's the only way to do it. I
Is
can't
the business
imagine.
class seats nice too?
Oh yeah,
So you're
that's
not
like
just.
those standard like little lay down seats.
So
where
you're not in the fucking like like you're flying on
40,
Southwest for a 2-hour
four
flight.
across, and
Yeah.
No,
like that.
you'll have your own little cubby that you'll be in. Now there could be somebody. They'll put a little false wall right there, and there'll be somebody on the other side. But you can lay flat. Great service, your own TV, unlimited movies, great food.
That's what's crazy is like they're like, okay, ladies, you know the pilot's coming over just so those people can take their burqa off
Oh yeah.
and start drinking.
Funny thing is, they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites.
Oh yeah.
That's the best
We're
part.
not in
That's what I get out of
Saudi
that shit.
anymore. Like Sharia law has no bearing here, so I'll take the burqa off and start drinking.
We had a bunch of Saudis hunting with us one time, and I asked the guy questions. No, everybody was afraid to ask him. And I was like, "How's that multiple wife deal work out for you? You know, it's gonna be hell at Valentine's Day." So and he was telling me about he didn't have multiple wives, but his dad did.
Dad did.
And then it was this. And I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I go, how the fuck do y'all pick up chicks at a damn nightclub and know what they look like? Well, we have a room we can take them into and have them disrobe. I thought, motherfuckers are pretty smart, you know. Can you imagine America asking some old gal, can you please go back in this room here and let me see you naked for a minute before I decide if I want to buy you a drink?
Did you go out to any of the nightclubs that were over there?
Absolutely. So
Really?
every place I went. So when I started, I was single at the time.
Yeah.
So I prowl around and see what I could.
Do you have
find
any kids over there?
that I'm aware of?
No.
No. But it wasn't for lack of effort. No, I mean Saudi wasn't. You couldn't really do. It's so regulated. Alcohol you couldn't have in country, although the princes do have it. So
course.
their strip club is just the lady that looks like the chick off of Aladdin. That's about as skimpy as they get dress
really?
wise. Yeah, but in other countries like India, they'd get a little bit more scantily clad. But Eastern Europe, that's a good place.
That's
to
why
go.
we're fighting in Ukraine right now. Why they're fighting in Ukraine
Could
over
be.
the sex trafficking.
Could be. Yeah, Turkey was pretty good. Czech Republic's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
So did when you would go, I saw a deal on Saudi Matter of fact, what's the guy's name that talked about the Clintons that killed himself? Anthony Bourdain.
Oh.
I watched a show on his. I used to love his show. He was a very interesting man. Anyways, Anthony Bourdain was in Saudi Arabia, and he was went to go out to eat, and it was different because he went out with a family to eat, and the wife and kids would set it as separate, like they had what do you call them, booths? Their booths, like you'd go into a place have a booth right there. They're all enclosed.
Yep.
And they would go in there, and the family would sit in one, then him and the guys would, because the women weren't supposed to mix with the men on business and stuff like that.
Nice.
So he would eat with Anthony Bourdain, and the family would be in the Mother Clucking, whatever it's called, at Mother Cluckers.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, but
Eastern Europe, it's a whole different set of rules over there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of everything goes. They're a little bit behind times. Russia, to a certain extent, the same way, too. But, yeah, if you go looking for a strip club or anything like that, you're going to get what you want out of it for sure.
So where
20-year-olds can have a whole lot more fun in Ukraine than they can in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel safe over there? You didn't feel like you were in the Taken movie?
No, never. But I was never really worried about that stuff.
Andy,
I'm
nervous
worried about
fucking
that.
Nelly.
I'm worried about that.
That is going to be my only male counterpart in San Juan the first 2 days. I can't wait for Zach to get there. Because Zach will at least be relaxed. Andy will be a nervous fucking wreck the whole time.
We're going to go to the house and
Bullshit.
chill.
We got to drive. We're landing in San Juan at 10 o'clock at night, getting a rental vehicle, and then driving an hour into the mountains so we can stay somewhere so we can go tubing in a cave the next day. This is going to be my main person at nighttime. He's going
It's
to be
fine
worried
down
to death.
there.
I'm not anywhere in the world. I don't worry about things like that. I pay attention, be vigilant, and don't do stupid shit.
Yep.
And mind your own business. And most times you'll be okay. And I'm not saying you can't come across
It
some
didn't happen
random.
for Liam Neeson.
All he did was fucking cause problems.
His daughter.
She
did nothing.
That's right. You don't look like her or her friend.
My wife
There
does.
is nobody going to sex traffic Andy.
He was almost a victim on that last
I
flight, though.
was. Maybe that's
He
what she was
could've been
trying to do,
trafficked.
Jeff. How do we know?
You've been watching Flight Attendant. Do you trust them women?
Fuck no, not as far as I can throw them.
Are you on season 2 yet of that?
Yeah.
I need to. I've started watching The Wire and quit watching it.
It's a good show on HBO Max.
Before we get off here, Ducks Unlimited has got a new deal coming out. I need to.
So what do you do for Brandon? That he said like you just take care of his property.
Yeah, he bought a duck club. There was an old duck club right by my house, probably 5 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Was unmanaged for probably 30 years, and something happened. It came up for sale, and he'd been kind of looking, and he was able to capitalize on it, go grab it, went and looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like dog shit right now, but with a little bit of care, it'll be really good. So he scooped it up, and I just pop out there, keep track of it, handle water control. We did a nesting program last year to try to get a more established mallard population there. So it's kind of been a little playground for waterfowl and moist soil management.
Mm-hmm. How's that been? Like, because he said you had a background in some of this waterfowl management.
Yeah, so growing up, I grew up in Fenville, Michigan, and there's it's called the Fenville Farm Unit, but it was previously the Todd Farm. It was a massive, I think it's about 4,000 acres of spearmint or peppermint, and they converted that into a big WMA, basically. Mm-hmm. So when we were sharecropping it, I spent my whole life out in this WMA, watching birds, seeing what they do, and then all of your crop that you worked, you'd have to leave strips for hunting. You had fields that would be hunted in. You couldn't go into certain areas because that's where birds were nesting. So I quasi-learned a lot of information from the local biologist, just being around them, seeing like, hey, why are you doing that? Why are you spraying that? How come you're drawing down here?
Right.
I learned a lot of stuff that way, so I was able to take that and apply it over to his place.
So, I guess he's just over the moon about the progress that you guys have made.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we calculated moist soil food creation of 10x last year, so that was an incredible bump. Now, all that's good, but you still need to have winter.
Yep.
So early goose season was okay. We had some teal around, but short of a couple really good days where we had weather days, it was honestly fairly slow because we didn't get birds until about January 1st.
Really?
When we got a really nice push of birds come down.
And that's in Michigan, Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're fucked here at the bottom of the flyway.
Every day.
Well, and it's interesting because I'll be in Oklahoma and Kansas and North Dakota, sporadically through, and I hunted in Kansas and January, and they still had birds that hadn't come down yet. That was in Wichita, just outside Wichita. And they still hadn't. That guy was saying that they came down, sat there, and then they never left. And we went through that high wind day, and they had like 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, we need some winter bad.
Well, and I can, we've got the podcast group, and there were guys that were in Canada or North Dakota, and they're like, "Hey, I've got your Lesters here. Like, still seeing speckle bellies." It's like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Hopefully this year will be a little cooler.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right,
what's the Ducks Unlimited event?
The DU Dash is a virtual run, walk, or ride hosted by Ducks Unlimited in support of waterfowl and wetlands. Basically, you need to get on the go to ducks.org and look for the DU Dash. It's $40, and you do a run, walk, ride. It costs to a 5K. They do a 10K. You can do anything you want to. You can do it on a moped. You can do it on a bike, swim. If you swim freaking 5K, that's a lot of swimming.
2.5
ATV,
miles.
kayak, or whatever. And you do it on between June 4th and June 12th. You sign up at Ducks Unlimited. They've got over 1,000 people have already signed up, and just another way to raise money for the Ducks. And you get a really cool shirt that says DU Dash swag. You get a 1-year DU membership, a DU Dash performance T-shirt, and a 2022 DU Dash medal. So go to ducks.org and look them up.
Very good. Mike, we appreciate you coming all the way out here to do this with us. It's been fun.
Yeah, good time. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We've gone 2 hours now, so over 2 hours.
Where are you going tonight? You're going to Kansas, aren't you?
Kansas. I'll see how close I can get. Yep.
Well, God bless you. Be safe, my friend. Thank you for being on here. Brandon Surecki, you come see us sometime.
You got to get down here because we're trying to get Brandon and all them to come. So you got to come at that time.
Are you going to
Problem
Squad
is-
Fest?
I'll probably make it down to Squad Fest. I won't make it to the Game Fair, though. We're hosting, actually, at Brandon's property, we're hosting a Super Retriever Series event that second weekend. So
That's
when y'all
the
are
weekend.
up there,
That's the weekend.
So
we'll be
Brandon
there.
won't be up there again. Brandon will never go anywhere.
probably
we go.
not, no.
Brandon's a homebody. We'll figure
Zach
it
will
out.
be there. Zach's a worker anyway.
Zach's the one.
He's a good time, too.
Zach and Lee, yeah, they are. And
Brandon's
Dirk.
just like, we need to be here. Zach, take it up.
Also, come to Squad Fest. You can get Andy's autograph. You can also come by and see the guys at Dirty Duck, at Gundog, at Boss, at Pacific, at the guys from Dive Bomb. Who am I forgetting off? Anybody off
Well,
the
it's
list?
Dive Bomb show, so of course they'll be there.
Anybody else? Am I forgetting everybody else?
I
think that's
most of
everybody
them
else.
are going to be there.
And the guys from Stanfield Hunting Outfitters will be there. So come by and see us on July 15th and 16th.
Yep.
And you can buy Andy a beer. Everybody comes there and buys Andy a beer. Andy said he'll drink a beer with everybody that offers to buy him one.
No, I did not. I never said
Thank y'all.
that.
God bless y'all and have a great week.
That'd be terrible. Wouldn't be worth shooting the next day. Check out our wonderful sponsors. Go check out Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Industries, Alpha Outdoors, Bangtail Whiskey, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gundog Outdoors, Lucky Duck, Dirty Duck Coffee, Shin Gear Waders, Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries.